The spring festival is approaching, and urging marriage has come again in order to avoid his mother's pursuit. Lu Yun shouted in the square, "This is all your daughter. In law." Unexpectedly, she joined the program, returning home with ordinary people for Chinese New Year, and became a CP with Yang Mi. Driven by helplessness, Lu Yun and Yang Mi embarked on a journey to Erbin, but they never intended to go crazy. Want to take a photo? Hanging a fake moon on a telephone cathedral. Have you never seen a northeast tiger? Come on, take a look at this freshly finished picnic. Do you like it? Want to play ice skating? Easy to handle. Let's create a world of ice and snow. Want to experience the characteristics of northeast China? Have you ever seen a bathhouse that is comparable to a 5-star hotel? One person, one knife, one pig. Is this horse really a miracle? Bringing honey to the banquet again. Your home is even bigger than the county town. You want some face? Let's take a look at what we agreed on. Why did you go to forge iron filings without a shirt? Is this northeast? The New Year's flavor is too strong, isn't it? I'm crying with envy. Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. Chapter 1. Mom. This is all your daughter. In laws. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Oh my dear mother. My dear mother. Can you spare me? Is that okay? Don't give me such a jerk. I'm just talking nonsense. I'm only 25 years old. Why are you in such a hurry? You coward, don't make such a fuss with me. 25, I already have you on 25. If you don't bring a wife back this year, then don't go home. I'll go to Sonia with your father for the winter. On the street, Lu Yun tightened his suit, took off his phone with a worried expression, and stretched his neck to suck a cigarette. His small gesture immediately touched the nerves of the old mother, and it was like a scolding. Damn it, are you smoking again? What's there to smoke from that damn thing? Just be like your dad. I don't learn this good thing from my mother, and you're not leaving behind that stinky problem from your father. I either smoke or drink alcohol. I know to smoke and drink every day, and that little bit of horse urine has nothing to drink from trampling horses. Listening to the video call, the mother across from him began to chatter endlessly, and Lu Yun's face was filled with tears and laughter. Looking at the people who are shopping around, Lu Yun can't help blush. To be honest, he doesn't want to make video calls, he doesn't even want to make phone calls. After all, every time I go home for the Chinese New Year, it's basically a process. Do you have a girlfriend? When will I bring it back for mom to see? Anyway, as long as there is no girlfriend, the art style must take a sharp turn. A cute and admired mother will immediately become an old lady. The little brat is smoking again, isn't he? Don't go home without a girlfriend. Every day is like this, every year is like this. And besides, he can't stop calling and hanging up yet. If he dares, then the deadly chain call can call him to death. Say it again. A child with a mother is like a treasure. Although Lu Yun sometimes resists it, at least there is still a mother who scolds. This was what he had dreamed of in his past life. And on weekdays mom is not like this either, she is more obsessed with her girlfriend. Usually she's also quite a lady. As for Lu Yun, he is a traveler or a tire puncturer. That is to say, at the moment of birth, he traveled back. I also traveled to a place a wealthy family. In his own words, how big is his family and how much money is there? He lived in that family for 18 years but couldn't figure it out. After the age of 18, his parents asked him to get out and go to school and explore. Thanks to family reasons, I started a small company with my classmates to practice my skills right after graduation. In my father's words, it's just a little bit of a prodigy. He can make whatever he wants, and if he doesn't make it, he can give it back. Anyway, experience cannot be exchanged for money. In summary, he is a true young master, and even the trap of second-generation entrepreneurship can be easily stepped on by him. Life, of course, is very comfortable. But ultimately, parents are still the same. You have to have a home and a room, and even during holidays, you have to face pressure to get married. At least you have to pass on the lineage to the Lao Lu family dragon people. This is all engraved in their genes. The only thing that made Lu Yun a little uncomfortable was that he didn't get any gold fingers or cheats when he crossed over. But it doesn't matter either. He has everything he wants in his current family. Of course. If I had a girlfriend, that would be even better. Spitting out his cigarette, Lu Yun cleared his throat, took back his phone, and bared his teeth. Mom, smoking and drinking are all social activities. Do you understand social activities? Isn't my dad also going out every day to drink with this and that? He doesn't smoke or drink, why play with others? I've watched him search several times. Anyway, he didn't drink too much that day with Uncle Chen. It's not a big deal to say he's a mother and son, at least he inherited his mother's eloquence. But when it comes to endless talk, it just exposes the truth. The mother across from her suddenly exploded upon hearing this. This old coward. You two are useless things. Are you drilling toward Sohatu again? Is that a good place? Ah. Dressed up all day, open your mouth and shut up, Grandpa, come and play. Those who don't know thought they were drilling in the kiln. Your father has become an old master. He's still riding horses and playing there, Lu Jiangwo. You bastard. What are you doing? I'm going fishing on horseback again, fishing. I either drink or fish every day. Lu Yun twitched his lips and took his phone aside, smoking while listening to his mother scolding him. And more people around him. Lu Yun was curious, thinking to himself that it was almost Chinese New Year, there were so many people. As a result, I heard my mom turn around again on the phone. You kid, when I come back this year, I must see my daughter.in.law. Otherwise, I'll give you a leg discount. Lu Yun's eyelids twitched as he watched as more and more people looked around, making his old face feel a bit uneasy. Mom, are you experiencing menopause? This time, it can be considered as poking ma fong fong. Menopausal period. Your mother and I are 18 and 1 flowers. Even worse menopause. Don't give me so much trouble. Hurry up and find me a daughter.in.law. Otherwise, I'll fly over and beat you now. You bastard. The old get angry with me. The small get angry with me. There's nothing to worry about. Can you be a bit tough? People of all sizes don't lack money or appearance, so finding a wife is so difficult. Your father is ruined, are you also ruined? Lu Yun turned down his phone a little awkwardly, only to find that there were more and more little sisters around him, and he even listened to his conversation with his mother, covering his mouth and giggling. Lu Yunchi smiled twice and quickly took a cigarette to suppress his shock. As Lu Yun saw his mother getting hotter and hotter, and more people, he also felt malicious towards him and raised his phone, saying, Mom! Aren't you just looking for a daughter.in.law? Upon hearing this, my mother was momentarily stunned. What? With all this knowledge, you already have a wife. What do you mean? I found your long-lost mother.in.law there and gave birth to one on the spot for you. Upon hearing these words, the young ladies around couldn't help but burst out laughing. Lu Yun's old face also turned red to the base of his neck. Mom, what are you talking about? I'm talking nonsense. If you little bastard were to argue a bit, how could I shout at you every day? You don't think it's embarrassing, I even think it's embarrassing. Lu Yun's cheeks twitched, and he could only grit his teeth as he looked at the little sisters around him casting funny looks. Okay. Lu Yun shouted loudly, his voice incredibly loud. This huge noisy square instantly became much quieter. Many passers-by turned their heads to look at him. Lu Yun thought to himself that he had already made a fool of himself, and he didn't care about losing another one. Besides, if this matter is not resolved for my mother, let alone for the Chinese New Year, he won't even settle down today. I finally took a break, and I must not spend it being scolded by my mother. I can't say, if my move works. In the future, my mother won't urge me to find a wife. Think of this. He raised his phone and turned around, letting the mother across from him look at the large group of little girls behind him and shout loudly. Mom! Have you seen it? When Lu Yun shouted, everyone turned their heads to look at him. These are all your daughter.in.law. Say hello to your daughter.in.law. Mom was stunned at the words. And the other people on site were also blinded. They didn't expect there to be such a socialite in this society. Just make a loud noise in public, dare you say it's all his wife. However, at first glance, this little cowherd looks quite handsome and has a good figure. Seeing everything quiet, Lu Yun felt a little proud in his heart. This is not his death, but his mother's death. I can't say that in the future, could you? Less scold yourself. Lu Yun curled his lips and walked towards the crowd while holding his phone. Mom, take a look. These are all your daughter. In.law, do they look good? Come on, little sister, say hello to Mom. Most Northeasterners are very sociable, and since childhood, they have grown up in that environment, so naturally they are also very sociable. This also earned him a lot of favor from his partners during his time starting the company. He pushed in as he spoke, and the little sister in the crowd knew he was joking and cooperated by waving and greeting his mother. Hello Mom, Mom is so young, Lu Yun grinned wide and said. Mom, did you see it? Are you satisfied? So many daughter.in.law. Everyone covered their mouths and chuckled, even forgetting their purpose of coming here. Lu Yun didn't know what was going on, so he kept pushing in because he noticed that the little sister here had a good figure and was also pretty. But as they squeezed and squeezed, the crowd suddenly emerged. He was taken aback and saw four extremely tall women with their backs to him in the small box on his phone, while across from them stood a big brother carrying a camera. What's going on? Live streaming. That's perfect. Let's just die today. As he spoke, he instinctively turned his head. Mom, take a look. How are these four daughters-in-law? The back view is so beautiful, the front face must be even more beautiful. How about we take them all home this year? As soon as this sentence is spoken, the needle drop on sight can be heard. All the onlookers turned their heads to look at him in unison. Among them, it also includes the four beautiful women he mentioned with their backs. After seeing the appearance of those four people, Lu Yun immediately blinded himself to the spot. Chapter 2 Yang Mi. I am the mother who has been separated for many years. You are listening at novelfull.audio. This kind of program is still my first time participating, I don't know how to choose. Yes, miss, have you chosen a partner yet? Watching Li Yitong, Reba, and Bai Lu looking pitifully at themselves. Yang Mi also had a face full of tears and laughter. This is your first time participating in such a program, am I too? Besides, isn't there a script arranged? Everyone just went through a process, why did you throw the pot at me again? I heard that everyone in the boys group has been selected and has already set off. We need to work harder. The three of them looked innocent and began scanning around, looking for the script actors arranged by the production team. The year of the long is the first decade after the millennium. Therefore, the director of the Spring Festival Gala wants to make a special Spring Festival Gala. So at the end of 2011, the program, celebrating Chinese New Year with ordinary people, was exclusively created by Young Mama. They need to randomly search for an amateur who is willing to take them home for the Chinese New Year in the square, in order to complete the requirements and tasks of the program team. Moreover, participating in this program not only earns a substantial announcement fee, but also generates unimaginable traffic. Even the most popular people can perform on the stage of the Spring Festival Gala. So once the show is exposed, the entertainment industry's artists can't help but sharpen their heads and stick their heads inside. Everywhere there is guidance from others, and some are willing to pay for their own performances. Unfortunately, the program has requirements. The participating artists should have a pure and flawless background. You also need to choose some artists who can bring traffic to the program and Spring Festival Gala. The energy behind is also under consideration. After all, the entertainment industry is a circle, and with a circle, there are naturally people and worldly wisdom. Coincidentally, Yang Mi, the four of them who have been in high demand in the past 2 years, were selected. Of course, there are also 4 people in the boy group. They are Yang, Wu Sancher, Hua Qingyu, and Fan Qinchin. It can be said that these 8 people almost all represent the most famous and popular Xiaohua and Xiaoxing in the entertainment industry today. There must be a script, but it cannot be too obvious. On the boy's side, it's okay to say that he can rely on his identity as a man to act confidently. In addition, they are all celebrities, and with just a few words and a joke, they have found their significant other. But Yang Mi and the 4 of them were blinded. In order to create the effect of the program, the production team only said that there would be a script, and the arranged actors would hide in the crowd, and they needed to discover it themselves. In this case, the script can be minimized to the greatest extent possible. The problem is, they are girls, so asking the opposite sex with a thick face if they can come to your house for the Chinese New Year is really embarrassing. So it has been more than 10 minutes here, and all 4 of them have achieved nothing. The key issue is that although there are many boys who like them, they can't resist being crowded by female fans, and wherever you see them, they are all girls. How about finding Miss Me, give her a move? Reba muttered, looking around at the female fans who were constantly taking photos with their phones. All 3 of them were at a loss. Yang Mi glanced at her watch and said, "Wow, their train is leaving in less than an hour. If you miss it, you'll have to figure out a way to leave on your own. Taking a plane. That's impossible." The production team has requested either to use the train tickets purchased by the production team or to wait for the train to pass and find a way to leave on their own. Anyway, you can't buy a plane ticket directly. It's okay to be in the south near the Magic City, but if it were in the north, but I suffered. Less than 1 more. Okay. Before Yang Mi could finish speaking, she heard the sound of a man breaking a broken jar behind the crowd. The 4 of them were taken aback, their eyes suddenly filled with joy. They thought it was the actors arranged by the production team who found it difficult to get into the crowd and deliberately gave them a secret code. The 3 of them instinctively looked at Yang Mi and noticed that she was also smiling, indicating that all 4 of them had thought of each other. So the 4 of them looked at the camera and started chatting with the audience who had been watching the live broadcast, waiting for the actors to enter. But waiting here is not right. Mom. Have you seen it? Upon hearing that voice again, although the 4 of them were calm in their hearts, they couldn't help but feel a little suspicious. Thinking to myself, this actor can't be any kind of anchor, can he? In recent years, the internet has started to develop, and there are many anchors in various industries. There is a type of outdoor anchor who is a super big social bully, shooting live broadcasts in the crowd without fear. If you go home with such an actor, perhaps you don't have to worry about the performance of the program. But just as the 4 of them thought of each other again, the sound came back to them. These are all your daughter.in.law. Say hello to your daughter.in.law. Yang Mi and the 4. What's the situation, Mississippi? Reba murmured softly and didn't forget to greet the people around with a smile. Yang Mi squeezed out a little smile and whispered softly. I don't know. Probably to give us a signal, right? Upon thinking about it, Reba also realized that if she rashly enters and directly says she wants to take her home for the Chinese New Year, she will definitely reveal her true feelings. I can't tell, this actor still has some ideas. Yang Mi twitched her lips and gave a dry smile, unsure of how to answer. But soon, they realized something was wrong. After all, they are top-tier celebrities, and standing here, there will be many people chatting or greeting the four of them. Suddenly, there was a noticeable silence behind me. Immediately afterwards, the voice began to ring loudly from behind. "Mom, take a look. How are these four daughters-in-law? The back view is so beautiful, the front face must be even more beautiful. How about we take them all home this year?" Yang Mi and the other four had black question marks on their faces, and they were all dumbfounded. "You actor. Is it a bit excessive? Choosing one is not enough, we still need to take four. I want to see which actor is so shameless." The four of them turned their heads slightly red and immediately met Lu Yun's four eyes. At that moment, they clearly saw that Lu Yun slowly opened his mouth, and his whole body was in a blinding state. If it weren't for knowing he was an actor long ago, all four would have thought he was a layman on the roadside. This acting skills are not bad, are they? The four of them nodded silently. Not to mention, one's own acting skills are inferior, but it can still be seen whether someone else's acting skills are good or not. Standing behind the four people, Lu Yun was stunned. He's a bit confused. He still knew about the big stars of his past life, but at that time he couldn't have had any interaction with these four people. It was just a conversation after dinner. "I didn't expect to see myself on the street right now. Really don't say I look much better than on TV. Son. The originally quiet scene was never expected to be broken first by my mother. These four daughter-in-law are good. She looks so beautiful. Especially the one on the left side. Hurry up and bring it home." Listening to my mother shouting on her phone, the ladies on the scene quickly covered their mouths and chuckled. Standing on the left side, Yang Mi's face turned red and embarrassed. This should we be happy or angry? Lu Yun's blush and cleared his throat. I'm sorry. My mom has gone crazy. Who's going crazy? You're a loser. Cough, hurry up and bring your daughter-in-law back. Otherwise, you won't be going home this year. Perhaps upon seeing the camera, my mother immediately reacted and quickly switched to lady mode. Yang Mi and the other four looked at each other, blushing and afraid to look at each other more. Just say you are an actor arranged by the production team, you can't do this either. This is too embarrassing. The four people's eyes flickered in place, causing the audience in the live broadcast room to laugh uncontrollably. Ha ha ha, this guy is a bit interesting. It seems that no one can escape the fate of being urged to get married during the Chinese New Year. Ha ha ha, the most fun thing isn't it this guy's mother? Let him bring honey in them home directly. Ha ha ha, what an idea. The older generation carefully selects, which is enough to show that Mi is beautiful. If I had this awesome mother, I wouldn't have been single for so many years. Xinyo mom. This guy is also very good at Xinyo, isn't he? It's fun this time. Let's see if the four of them, Mimi, will choose him. Who chooses who is awkward? Lu Yun naturally didn't know that the audience in the live broadcast room was roast, and smiled awkwardly. So what? Are you recording a program? I won't delay your business anymore, I'll leave. As he spoke, Lu Yun turned around and was about to leave, without any hesitation, showing Yang Mi and the others all the way. What does that mean, buddy? Aren't you an actor? What a great opportunity to take over. Are you turning your head and leaving? What? Do we still need girls to take the initiative to speak up? The four of them let out a proud snort in their hearts, but due to the camera's presence, Yang Mi took the lead in persuading them to stay. After all, she was already carefully selected by her mother, wasn't she? Hey! Are you waiting? Lu Yun was stunned for a moment, then turned around with a bewildered expression on his face. He really wants his mother to die, so there is a high probability that she won't keep pushing for marriage in the future. And when I saw the camera, I thought it was a small program or a big anchor. So he didn't think much. Who would have thought it was Yang Mi and the four of them? It's not that Yang Mi and the four of them are so disrespectful. Chun Chun is Lu Yun who doesn't want to cause trouble. After all, the program that allows the four of them to shoot together is definitely not a mediocre group. Small programs can add to the excitement and also say that the people are simple. If this big program adds to the excitement, it's just causing trouble. Why do you have to find yourself unhappy during the Chinese New Year? So after seeing the four people, he decided to quickly leave. Who would have thought that Yang Mi had stopped him? What's going on? Yang Mi was a bit speechless. She thought to herself that you, as an actress, acted a bit too well, right? Those who don't know think they are really ordinary people. What's that? We're recording a program. I know. Lu Yun's expression was taken for granted, and his eyes were full of words. I'm not that silly, isn't that the camera? This expression made the audience on site and in the live broadcast room giggle and laugh. Yang Mi's face turned red, and after biting her teeth, she showed a cute smile. It's like this, our program is called Celebrating Chinese New Year with Ordinary People, which is exclusively recorded by Yang Mama. We need to search for a layman on site to celebrate the Chinese New Year with them and promote the local culture and culture. Upon hearing these words, Lu Yun suddenly understood. Upon seeing this, Yang Mi thought to herself that you, as an actor, have finally started to debut. Let me be a woman, and then what? Before Yang Mi could finish her thoughts, Lu Yun came up with such a sentence and directly scolded her, leaving her speechless. The ladies on site can still hold their mouths and hold back. The audience in the live broadcast room couldn't help but feel that the screen was full, making Yang Mi feel like she was dead. Yang Mi and the others trembled in their hearts, wishing to take a sip of salt soda and spray him to death. Miss Mi, what's the situation? Is this the actor hired in the program or the one hired to find fault? Yeah, shouldn't there be 4 actors? How come there's only one now? I'm really impressed. What kind of brain circuit is this person? The 3 of them murmured, not daring to speak loudly at all. I didn't even notice that in the corner outside the crowd, the 4 men were still discussing how to squeeze in to appear more reasonable. Lu Yun across from him seemed to suddenly understand something. Oh, he played a long tune and then pointed his phone at the 4 of them. Are you saying that you want to be my daughter.in.law and come home with me for the Chinese New Year? As he spoke, he turned to his phone and shouted loudly. Mom! Your long-lost daughter.in.law has been found. As soon as these words were spoken, the ladies on site couldn't hold their breath. Puff. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha, this person is so interesting, ha ha ha. Mommy, mommy. Ha ha ha. Watching the young ladies around burst into laughter, Yang Mi and the other 4 were all infuriated. This bastard. Yang Mi spat in her heart and forced herself to cry and laugh uncontrollably. You really are. Line by line. She finally understood that the actor was just waiting for her to speak, otherwise the play would have to continue. If you miss the train when you turn around, it's over. Yes. That's right. I'm my mother's long-lost daughter.in.law, going home with you for the Chinese New Year. Blushing is true blushing, but since they are all actors, just talk about it, they can't shed a piece of meat. Just following his words, it didn't seem abrupt, and others wouldn't even notice that they had a script. Besides, she is also an actress herself, so she can be considered to be playing against Lu Yun. Upon hearing this, Lu Yun's eyes widened instantly, looking incredulous. He originally intended to talk nonsense to make Yang Mi understand the difficulties and retreat. He is rich and true, but not a fool. Recording programs with artists, he can't live comfortably anymore. Firstly, according to Yang Mi, the program is live broadcast. That means as long as Yang Mi follows him, he must spend every day being watched by Yang Mi's fans. Perhaps besides going to the restroom, I have to be live-streamed at all times, without any privacy concerns, and continue to accept supervision from netizens. Secondly, some personal habits may not be showcased, such as smoking, sleeping in, or having a drink with dad. It's simply outrageous. Finally, he's not a celebrity, and he's still doing his own business. What's the name of this day's program? Not at all comfortable, but who knew she had seen a ghost in broad daylight, and Yang Mi actually agreed in public. He could even imagine the scene where his partner would see the show and his phone would be blown up. After all, Yang Mi personally said that she is the daughter-in-law of her mother who has been separated for many years. This riding a tiger is difficult to get off. Ding, congratulations, you have triggered the condition for opening popularity points. You have opened a popular shopping mall. Obtaining popularity points can be exchanged for items and skills in the mall. Congratulations. Opening a popular shopping mall for the first time will earn you a beginner gift package. May I ask if it is enabled? Lu Yun. Wang Defa. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 3. Is broken. Yang Mi was abducted and ran away. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Popular shopping mall. What is this thing? Gold finger. Lu Yun slowly opened his mouth wide and became numb again. He's already 25 years old, he has lived for 25 years. He has forgotten that he is a traveler. As soon as the golden finger arrived at the account, it instantly reminded him that he was still a traveler. He ignored the quietness of the scene and quickly opened the explanation of the popular shopping mall. Quickly, Lu Yun understood what this popular shopping mall was. Simply put, as long as he can earn popularity points, he can exchange things in the mall. The shopping mall is divided into two categories: artistic and professional. Lin could always exchange a lot of things, and he didn't take a closer look. Because the most important thing was that the popular mall gave him a beginner gift package. Open the gift pack. Lu Yun silently recited a sentence, and a voice suddenly appeared in his mind. Ding, congratulations, you have opened the beginner gift pack. You have obtained Random Profession Mastery +1, All Attributes +5, Black Market Fragments +1, 1/10, Sleeping Slot. Lu Yun widened his eyes and quickly looked at the reward explanation. Random Occupation Mastery. Randomly select a profession, and proficiency immediately reaches mastery. Black Market Fragments. Collecting all the black market fragments can open the black market. There are many unexpected good things in the black market, which will definitely make you value your money. This Lu Yun was shocked and took a cold breath. Isn't this a bit too impressive? Is this the golden finger? This is the benefit for travelers. Is each person having a cheat? Lie down, take off directly. Lu Yun stood in amazement, completely immersed in a huge surprise. Just now I was worried that being live-streamed every day would lack privacy. Now must live stream every day. We must live stream with Yang Mi every day. Where can he get popularity without live streaming? Thinking of this, he instinctively looked at the camera, wondering if he should live his entire life first. Forget it, let's take a look at what random professions give first. He is very curious about this. Ding, congratulations on enabling Random Profession Mastery. You have obtained Mastery of the Pig Slayer profession. Lu Yun. What? What is that? A pig killer. I became a pig killer. Hey buddy, are you funny? However, before he could fully recover, his mother's voice immediately rang from his phone. Oh. Really? How's that? Hurry up, take it home and show it to mom. Oh, this girl is so handsome. She looks like a big star. Mom chattered and didn't recognize anyone, and the people around her were amused and laughed heartily again. Upon seeing this, Reba rushed over to Yang Mi and whispered softly. "Miss, is this actress reliable? Yang Mi wants to say it's unreliable, what might she do? Can she still back out in front of the national audience after speaking her mind?" Taking another look at Lu Yun, whose face was filled with shock and astonishment, Yang Mi hesitated for a moment and said. "The production team themselves said that the scripts are all random, and it's not bad if he can come up with this solution, at least it doesn't appear fake." The three of Reba nodded, indeed. "Since his mother has already named you as his daughter.in.law, Miss Honey, hurry up and follow him, don't delay the train." Yang Mi twitched the corner of her mouth, feeling a bit speechless, but anyway, it was all acting, so she endured it. "Okay, then wait a little longer and I'll leave first." Good honey, goodbye." The three of them waved their hands and watched as Yang Mi walked to Lu Yun's side. "Let's go. Go get the train ticket." As soon as the familiar Xiao Nian sounded, Lu Yun instinctively looked at her and said. "Are you really going home with me for the Chinese New Year?" Yang Mi is very speechless. She thinks to herself that you are such an interesting actor, you really have a complete set of performances. She blinked her big eyes as expected and said. "Of course, didn't you agree?" I also agreed. "I am my mother's long-lost daughter.in.law, popularity +1+1+1+1. Lu Yun's eyes lit up and his heart was filled with joy. It seems that Yang Migang's words must have caused the audience in the live broadcast room to howl. Don't even think about it, there must be some who say they're lucky. After all, being able to take Yang Mi home for the Chinese New Year is a dream for many people. Since you confirmed again in front of the camera, don't say I abducted you. Exactly, I can rely on you to obtain popularity points and exchange things, son. Come back quickly. Aren't you all on vacation? Hurry up and bring my daughter.in.law back." Before Lu Yun could speak, his mother was urging him again. "Get closer and see more clearly." The more she looked at Yang Mi, the more she found her beautiful and kind-hearted. After all, at the age of 26, it can be considered Yang Mi's peak period of beauty, and in terms of appearance, there is no problem at all. As for Yang Mi's identity, she has no idea at all. After all, her focus is on business and she doesn't pay much attention to it on a daily basis, nor does she read much news in the entertainment industry. At most, I just feel that this girl looks a bit familiar. Lu Yun nodded and said. "Okay, then let's go back together and I'll book another flight." Seeing Lu Yun pick up her phone, Yang Mi said with suspicion in her eyes. "Wait a moment. Air tickets. We can't take a plane. The production team has prepared train tickets, so we must take a train instead. What is the situation? Is this actor silly? Or is it for acting?" As soon as she saw the little sisters around her looking at her, Yang Mi instantly understood. Sure enough, they are still acting. That's right, so many people are watching now. If you slip the tongue, what you played before will be in vain. Yang Mi was addicted to acting, but Lu Yun was deceived again. What's going on? Taking a train. Seeing that Lu Yun seemed to have been stepped on, Yang Mi looked puzzled. Yeah. Take the train. Lu Yun widened his eyes and instantly put down the phone he was about to lift. He looked at Yang Mi with an incredulous expression on his face. "Big brother. Do you know where my hometown is? Taking the train. Are you dying?" Yang Mi became even more suspicious. She doesn't have much concept of distance, it's not that she hasn't been far away, but basically she only takes a few hours by plane. In her mind, taking the train is slow, but at most it only adds a few more hours, right? She often stays up all day while filming, feeling that she has good physical strength and no problem. How did this get into his mouth and become a deadly thing? Lu Yun was completely speechless. Big brother, my hometown is Dongbei D, Dongbei Erbin D, Erbin Holland D. Yang Mi twitched her lips, looking innocent. And then what? And then what? Yeah. Don't use that whole word, I don't know where it is either. Although we have only talked about it for a few words, it is true that Yang Mi's accent is a bit off-center in just a few words. But that's not the point. The key is that the little sisters around know the distance and look strange at Yang Mi. Lu Yun pursed his lips and said earnestly. Big brother, take the train from Hongqiao to my house. The slowest train takes 30 hours. 12-year express, 29 hours and 46 minutes, the fastest high-speed train takes 12 hours. You're not dying anymore, are you? Ah. Upon hearing this, Yang Mi was dumbfounded. 30 hours. Lu Yun shrugged his shoulders. Not yet, but it's still within 20 minutes, are you sure you still need to take the train? Yang Mi's eyes were wide open, and her heart was in turmoil. Taking a 30-hour train ride. This is really deadly. So, what should we do? Ask the production team, we should be able to take the high-speed train, right? Lu Yun didn't want to speak, but as the matter came to an end, he could only come up with a solution together. Otherwise, my mother may not know how to urge me. Girl, let's take the plane. It's only 3 o'clock, don't take the train, it's too troublesome. Mom has already turned around and started caring about her daughter.in.law here. But the production team has regulations, what can she do? Yang Mi had a worried expression on her face, and suddenly regretted being with this actor. She could only turn around and look at the camera guy, wanting him to ask through his earphone. The camera guy is not foolish either. After pressing the earphones, he quickly transmitted the message back. Miss Mi, Erbin's ticket is for the high-speed rail, you don't have to sit for so long. The cameraman was originally very confused when he saw Lu Yun. Because he had seen the actors in the script, even though they were all at a glance and had never spoken, there was no practical concept of what they looked like. But in his consciousness, it seemed that there were no actors as handsome as Lu Yun. However, Lu Yun was very down to earth and successfully led Yang Mi away. After he inquired, the director immediately told him that it was a high-speed rail ticket to Erbin, which relieved him. After all, the tickets were bought long ago. If Lu Yun were not an actor, it would not be possible to be so accurate that he was the same person as the real actor. The Dragon Kingdom is so big, why so coincidental? Upon hearing this, Yang Mi couldn't help but look at Lu Yun with a bitter face. Although it's a high-speed rail ticket, it still takes 12 hours. Lu Yun reluctantly spread out his hand. The road was chosen by yourself, not by me forcing you. Yang Mi twitched her lips and could only grit her scalp. Then, let's go, don't waste time. Lu Yun nodded, said to his mother, and then left with Yang Mi. The three of them looked sympathetically at the backs of Yang Mi and Lu Yun, shaking their heads incessantly. Poor Miss Honey. Yeah, 12 hours. Puff. Lulu. Cough, no, it's okay. I'll definitely choose something closer to here. Reba was speechless, but when she remembered that Yang Mi had to sit on the high-speed train for 12 hours, the corners of her mouth were even harder to handle than AK. Alright, Miss Mi has already selected a layman, so there are only the three of us left. Oh, who's better to choose? Is there anyone willing to take us home voluntarily? As soon as Reba spoke, the little sisters around her immediately signed up enthusiastically. Me. Reba, come home with me. Come with me, my family is fierce. We have raised a lot of cattle and sheep. You don't have to avoid them when you get there. Reba couldn't help but cry and laugh. Sisters, we're looking for the opposite sex, the opposite sex. Don't be so stubborn about gender. Ha ha ha. Everyone laughed heartily, as if they had dealt with Yang Mi. Just as the three of them were chatting with the people around them, 4 men squeezed in along the passage where Lu Yun left. And in the moment I saw the 4 of them. The 3 of Reba were also a bit confused. They are not fools. When they see a man suddenly squeezing in, they must be actors in place. But the problem is, shouldn't it be 3? How are there 4? Is the extra one a true amateur? It should be. This can avoid being seen as problematic. The 3 of them were completely certain that they were only actors in their positions. The 4 men who squeezed in were also a bit suspicious at this moment. Isn't that right? Didn't we agree on 4 female celebrities? Why are there only 3 of them? Where is Yang Mi? The 4 people stared at each other with big eyes, but the problem is, this is a live broadcast, and we can't tolerate them being deceived, can we? They quickly separated, regardless of the situation, and completed their tasks first before proceeding. The actors are in place. Sure enough. Reba. Come with me. My home is from the mountain city. I'll take you back to eat hot pot every day. Okay, okay. Reba's eyes lit up and she was very happy. Bye Lu. Come home with me to celebrate the Chinese New Year. My family is from Chaos Han, the master of the Chinese New Year camp, and there are also English songs and dances. They are very impressive. Really? That's great. Li Tong. My hometown has a lively New Year celebration. Is that right? I like the hustle and bustle. But can you ask if it's far or not? Not far, very close to the demon. That line, the 3 of them quickly chose their companions and left the crowd chatting happily with each other. And the young ladies who were watching saw the 3 of them leave, so they followed along. Soon. Finally, there was only one man left with a bewildered face, cluttered in the local wind. No. What's the situation? Where's Miss Me? Upon hearing this, the older brother who had already started collecting the camera was immediately stunned. What's going on? The man ran to the camera brother with a surprised expression and said. No. Big brother. Where's the agreed script? Where's the agreed companion of Miss Me? Ah. The cameraman was immediately shocked upon hearing these words. What are you saying? The person pointed at himself foolishly and said. Me. I'm an actor. The director said he wanted me to take Yang Mi away, didn't he? Where's Miss Me? The camera brother's face changed greatly, and the camera almost fell to the ground. Sleeping slot. It's broken. Yang Mi was abducted and ran away. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 4, Wait a moment. What did you say your name is? You are listening at novelfull.audio. What? Yang Mi was abducted and ran away. In the back-end office. The director looked at the director in front of him with a bewildered expression as he held his phone. What is the situation? A big living person. Was he abducted and ran away? The director clearly didn't come to his senses, he wiped the cold sweat from his forehead. I don't know what the situation is, but for some reason, a social bully came and chatted with Yang Mi in just a few words. Before waiting for 5 minutes, Yang Mi ran away with them. Puff. The director spat out a mouthful of old blood upon hearing this. What's wrong with Yang Mi? Can't we ask more questions before making a decision? Even if there is a script, we need to act it out. The director's face turned pale. I did it all. You didn't know the scene at that time, it was so natural, there was no trace of acting. I heard from the camera that the other party was video chatting with their mother at that time, seemingly to avoid being urged to get married, and they shouted in the square that these were all your daughter. In law. Then she inexplicably squeezed into the crowd, saying that Yang Mi and all four of them were your daughter.in.law. Who would have thought that the other person's mother fell in love with Yang Mi at a glance and insisted that the person take Yang Mi home. Then Yang Mi became the mother's strict choice and was directly taken away by that person. The director opened his mouth in shock, and everyone was numb. Nonsense. That person is already a layman. What kind of performance does he play? There's no need to play at all. The director opened his mouth and also deceived. How do you want me to answer this? I wasn't there either, how do I know? The director grabbed a handful of the Mediterranean urgently, and his face turned pale. It's broken. She must have thought that person was an actor and didn't think much before following along. I guess I have to think that person's acting skills are good. Or perhaps it's the director, who can reveal the truth with just one word. But when he thought about the artist on his show being taken away by an unknown passerby, in case something happened, the director's inspiration added insult to injury to the already lonely Mediterranean. Oh my God. He quickly pulled his white face and skipped over. Hurry up. Hurry up. Call the camera. Terminate the program first. Stop filming. Stop filming for now. The members of the production team were all crazy, and the director was even more frightened. At this moment, there was no need to worry about speeding, so I quickly drove to chase Yang Mi and Lu Yun. This is not the fault of the director, let alone the director. Normally, the director was supposed to coordinate the overall situation and look at the big screen. But because it's just the initial stage of selecting people, there's nothing else to record. The real producers of the program are all at home, so no one on the production team follows. They are all preparing to go and decorate their homes. In addition, the boy group has already selected and everyone has gone to take the bus. So when he was about to prepare, his attention was focused on the 4 camera images of the male group. In order to have a clearer view and more convenient back-end control, he directly cut the female screen and only looked at the male screen. After all, the 4 of them have not yet found their own actors and are still chatting with the audience on the square. With cameras in place, there won't be any accidents. Who would have thought of killing Cheng Yaojin halfway and running away with Yang Mi? This is a big accident. That's right. This is a broadcast accident. It seems that the artists are pushing their heads to join the production team. It's true that the production team is responsible for the personal safety of artists. If there is an accident, the director is the first person to be held accountable. These are all small matters. Personal safety is the big issue. There was an artist who went to a program before and was almost detained by the family as if she were a daughter.in.law. At that time, there was also a lot of news, and that female artist fell into a psychological shadow as a result. If Yang Mi is also detained and given to others as their daughter.in.law, I dare not think, I can't even think of it. And don't forget, this is the program of Young Mama, there is no room for any mistakes. Putting aside safety issues, I can't hold my face. He can't afford to lose such a big thing for an artist. The program team here wants to cry without tears, flying chickens and dogs. And on the other side, Lu Yun and Yang Mi were leisurely sitting in the program team's car and rushing to the train station. Yang Mi saw that Lu Yun had been silent and posting microstars, looking at the content of the mall. The camera sitting in the passenger seat has been holding the camera and shooting at both of them. Yang Mi thought that after all, she was filming a program, and it was not a problem to remain silent all the way. She recalled what the director had said and picked up her phone to check the actor information sent to her by the director. The above briefly records the names, ages, hometown, and local customs of the actors. It's just to give them some understanding of the actors, so that they can break the awkward situation on the way. She flipped through and found that her hometown was an actor from Erbin. However, the hometown information written above isn't it Holland. That. As Yang Mi spoke, Lu Yun instinctively looked over. What's wrong, Miss Honey? Yang Mi looked at him with suspicious eyes. Do you call your hometown blue? Lu Yunmeng paused for a moment, didn't he make it very clear just now? Yeah. Huh, blue? Yang Mi became even more suspicious, and she looked at Lu Yun in confusion. By the way. Are you 23? Right. Lu Yun was confused again. Did I mention my age? Am I 25? Ah. Yang Mi was stunned again. Isn't that right? What's written on this is clearly 23, right? Is my hometown from Daily? Yang Mi twisted her face, puzzled. Is there an error in recording information? Until then, she felt that it was possible that the director had memorized the wrong information, and never felt that she had followed the wrong person. Ah. No, it's okay, haha. It's not much different anyway, so you should call me sister. Lu Yun looked bewildered and thought to himself, what is this big star up to? Yang Mi was afraid of the silence, so she quickly sat up straight and said. By the way, do you have any different customs for celebrating the Chinese New Year in your hometown? Yes. Of course there is. Lu Yun put down his phone and slightly raised his eyebrows as he turned to look at her. In addition to going to the big show, we also have activities such as killing New Year pigs, eating pig-killing vegetables, releasing flowers, and ice skating. There are many projects involved. There are many activities that focus on food. In winter, it's cold and I don't go out very often. The cat house is just a place to eat. What's even more lively is going to temple fairs, lantern fairs, making iron flowers, lion dances, carrying pavilions, and other folk cultures. It's very lively. Anyway, if you want to play, eat, drink, have fun or something, there's nothing wrong with going to northeast China. Yang Mi nodded secretly, similar to what was said in the message. Ah. That's really good. Eating it every day makes me afraid of gaining weight. Looking at Yang Mi's somewhat shy appearance, Lu Yun smiled. Don't worry, you should eat and drink. After we finish eating, we can go out and exercise. There are many sports activities in my hometown, and we can't eat much anymore. Seeing Yang Mi nod, Lu Yun looked at her with great interest. I don't think you're fat either. You're not dry either. Yang Mi. You're really a big star, your body management is really impressive. Yang Mi's face turned red and she felt a bit embarrassed. There's no way, as an artist, you must manage it well, otherwise you won't be on camera. Lu Yun shook his head. Hey, what's on camera and not on camera? Look at the current celebrities, they're all just bones. Especially those models, they lose weight every day for the sake of their so-called figure. This person needs to have some meat, he's dry and not good looking, and he's also prone to getting sick. Across northeast China, we all like healthy daughters. Look at beautiful women like Shen Aojuan, Xiao Song family, Qin Lan, and Dong Xian. No one is dry. It's not that I have to be overweight, at least I have to have some meat. Yang Mi. Where are you looking with those eyes? What does that mean? You should be able to do it. Yang Mi. Is this actor a color swatch? Yang Mi's eyelids twitched as she suddenly felt like she had jumped into a pit. If I were to go home with such a passionate man, Yang Mi shivered and her face turned red. But on second thought, she probably wouldn't know. After all, they are actors who have signed contracts. In daily contact with artists, one should not touch them or verbally harass them. Because it's just recording programs, not really being someone's wife. Respecting each other as guests is a prerequisite. Although she felt that the actor in front of her spoke a bit frivolous, but in common sense, people's impression of Northeasterners is that they are bold, atmospheric, and kind-hearted. Perhaps it was due to his environment and personality that he didn't think much and said so. Moreover, upon careful consideration, there is no problem with what he said. Good health is the top priority. But unfortunately, as an artist, life is irregular and cannot be considered healthy. By the way, I don't know your name yet. Yang Mi actually already knew, but in order to do a full set of acting, she still casually asked. After all, he always talks about health issues and his eyes are blind. Without much thought, Lu Yun suddenly said. Oh yes, I haven't told you my name yet. My name is Lu Yun. Oh, Lu. Ha. Yang Mi's eyelids twitched and her eyes widened instantly. What did you say your name is? Lu Yun looked bewildered. What's going on? What's wrong with my name? Am I really your long-lost relative? Husband. Lu Yun. Lu Yun. The land of the mainland. The clouds of the clouds. Upon hearing these words, Yang Mi was instantly blinded. Wait a moment. A question mark on Lu Yun's face. What's wrong? Is there a problem with my name? Yang Mi looked at the camera with suspicion, actually looking at the camera. Lu Yun. Lu Yun. Just as Yang Mi was being blinded, the camera brother's earphone suddenly rang, and the director's howls and roars immediately came from inside. Turn off the camera. Turn it off. Yang Mi followed the wrong person. This person is not our actor. The cameraman's eyes widened instantly upon hearing these words. He was startled and the camera almost fell off. Then he quickly turned off the camera, ignoring the full screen of question marks in the live broadcast room, and looked at Yang Mi with a panicked expression. No. Honey, no. He's not an actor. He's not. If Yang Mi still can't react at this time, then she doesn't need to work in the entertainment industry. What are you saying? Lu Yun asked with a black question mark on his face. What's wrong with this? The cameraman paused, clearly listening to what was being said in his earphone. After listening, his face turned pale. Visible fear to the naked eye. Damn it, Miss Honey. I made the wrong choice. I really made the wrong choice. The actors are still in the square. Upon hearing this, Yang Mi seemed to have seen a ghost and widened her eyes, speaking in unison with the camera brother's shocked expression. Stop the car. Stop the car. Squeak. The car's brake pads made a piercing sound and quickly stopped in place. Fortunately, it was a small road in the city, and there were no cars behind. Otherwise, we'll have to end up chasing each other. Looking at their frightened expressions, Lu Yun completely blinded them. What situation is this? Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 5. Oh Roar. The new version of the ship, haven't you heard of it? You are listening at novelfull.audio. So. Is this your testimony in court? Oh Roar. I haven't heard of the new version of the ship before. Come on, keep talking. On the roadside. Lu Yun inserted his hand into his pocket, took a puff of smoke, tilted his head, and looked at the director who was sweating with a smile on his face. The director smiled apologetically and, with lingering fear, packed the tissues. No, I'm sorry, my friend. I'm really sorry. The whole split. Hee. Driver, camera, Yang Mi, director. The four of them looked at Lu Yun awkwardly. This matter has caused a stir. Lu Yun sighed and took a silent puff at the flue. You guys have a script together, they just mistakenly thought I was an actor, and then. Wrong choice. Yang Mi's face turned red, and she awkwardly scratched her feet when she thought of herself in front of so many people in the square saying that she was her mother's long-lost daughter. Law. If it's just an actor, it's just acting. But he's not an actor, he's a real passerby. This Yang Mi clenched her teeth, and the shoe shell of the little Giorgio buckle made a clicking sound. Yes. I'm sorry. No matter how many times you've seen big winds and waves, anyone who encounters this will have to die in society. Lu Yun nodded and pursed his lips, saying. So how do you want to solve this problem? If it was before gaining popularity in the mall, he would naturally applaud and run away immediately. It would be best if these troubles could be kept away. But with a popular shopping mall, it won't work. He's not stupid, the trigger for this mall must be Yang Mi. Otherwise, why hasn't it been opened for so many years and inexplicably started when I met Yang Mi? Isn't this something on the surface? Say it again. He also points to being on camera with Yang Mi to gain popularity. Otherwise, obtaining this popular shopping mall would be meaningless. And the director hesitated when he heard Lu Yun's words. This matter is not easy to solve no matter how much we deal with it. The problem is, if it's a recording, they can give Lu Yun some money as compensation and then return to the square to re-record. But this program is live streaming. 300,000 people watched in the live broadcast room, and hundreds of people at the square also watched. Suddenly changed for Lu Yun, he couldn't even imagine how miserable it would be for Mother Sheep's scarf to be washed away at that time. The reputation and prestige of the director, production team, and Yang Mama will definitely plummet. After all, changing people means clearly having a script. Mom Sheep, I'm writing a script and changing people halfway through. Viewers who have watched it are unlikely to agree. Originally, this program was supposed to randomly select an amateur to participate in the square. It's because I want to give the audience the idea that ordinary people can also record programs with big stars. In this way, all the purposes and concepts of this program have been destroyed, making it meaningless. Along with it, the Spring Festival Gala is going to have a bad reputation. People will say it's through the back door, with scripts and the like. But if it's not changed, it's also very troublesome. Actors have already signed contracts, and if there is no replacement, there will be a series of things on stage, such as meetings, discussions, compensation, re-signing contracts, and so on. Besides, any passerby who wants to record a program must do background checks, and it is impossible for the artist to go to an unclear home. Who is responsible for what happened? If Yang Mi and Lu Yun were to leave, there would be too much chaos. State-owned enterprises, public institutions, and relevant departments. I understand what the process is when encountering something. Changing people, not changing people, the problem is very serious. The director hesitated several times and didn't know what to do. Mr. Lu Yun took a puff at the chimney while he was there. If it were me, the program wouldn't be easy to do, after all, so many people have seen Miss Me Choose Me. It is also easy to be labeled as having a script in the production team and going through back doors. The director's face turned pale and he suddenly understood that Lu Yun was not a fool. He is clearly the same as he thinks. That's right. Judging from Lu Yun's suit, he is not a cheap commodity and probably not an ordinary person. Let me ask the director. After holding it for a long time, he had no choice but to pick up the phone and communicate with the director. Upon seeing this, Lu Yun looked at Yang Mi. Yang Mi was very embarrassed and blushed with a dry smile. I'm sorry for causing you trouble. Lu Yun waved his hand casually. As the saying goes, there is no popular shopping mall. He turned around and left without any intention of getting involved in this matter. These are all small matters, the most important thing at the moment is whether to change people or not. Yang Mi nodded silently, feeling very uncomfortable. At the end of the day, it was she who didn't understand, didn't ask clearly, and left with the person in a daze. This is also a major mistake for her. Fortunately, Lu Yun is a good person and did not hold her accountable. But this is work. I guess Sing Jia and the others will definitely say that what should I do. Just as Yang Mi and the others were watching Lu Yun smoking in place, the director came back with his phone in hand. He looked at Lu Yundao awkwardly. The director said we need to discuss this. Lu Yun stopped and the actual problem was also brought to light. The director immediately realized the seriousness of this matter upon hearing the director's words. As mentioned above, both changing people and not changing people have to endure many changes. Lu Yun nodded. This matter is easy to solve, the key point still depends on you. The director was taken aback, and the hand that was supposed to hang up the phone also stopped. What does it mean? Lu Yun pinched his cigarette and looked at him calmly. Have you decided to replace me or not? The director hesitated for a moment and placed the phone in his ear. Director, what do you think? The director pondered for a moment and said softly. Give him your phone. The director is a human spirit who has been struggling in this society for many years. Hearing Lu Yun's indifferent voice when encountering such a situation, it must be that this young man is not simple. The director gave a dry laugh and handed the phone to Lu Yun. After receiving it, Lu Yun didn't put it in his ear, but turned on the hands-free function. Hello Director Zhang. Hello, I'm really sorry to have caused you such a big trouble. Lu Yun smiled. This is not a problem, I'm also on vacation, it's nothing. The question is, do you have a solution on your end? The director fell silent and grinned bitterly. Personally, I would like to hear your thoughts. Lu Yun glanced at Yang Mi and took out a cigarette to continue lighting a cigarette. This matter can be easily resolved. It depends on whether you want to change people or not. The director pursed his lips, intending to switch back to his own actor, but it was not easy to handle. But if he doesn't change people, he doesn't know Lu Yun's background. You know, our program is live streaming, it's not easy to handle changing people. Lu Yun nodded. Indeed, if it were to be changed, the reputation of the production team would be ruined, and the reputation of both Yang Mama and Spring Festival Gala would also be affected. Lu Yun understood the director's meaning and didn't intend to play any more tricks. If you want to replace me, then I'll leave now. You can handle the rest yourself. It's easy for me to say. If you don't change, it's also easy to handle. The director was momentarily stunned at the words. He didn't expect Lu Yun to be so articulate. He had originally thought that Lu Yun would ask the lion to speak up and take advantage of the situation to extort money. After all, he is dutiful to such a big accident. Can Lu Yun actually said, what if it's not changed? What should we do? In the program process submitted by the production team, Lu Yun's character was originally an actor. If it were to be replaced by Lu Yun, he would have to go to the station for a meeting to discuss the follow-up matters. The activities and requirements set by the program team also need to be modified. The equipment that needs to be arranged for recording also needs to be modified. I can't explain what's going on here in just a few words. It's all easy to say. At most, it's just him and the people on the production team who need to be more troublesome. The problem is that temporary personnel changes are not up to him alone. The station also needs to assess, conduct background checks, and negotiate, to put it bluntly. The final decision is in the station, not in the hands of the program director. The director pondered for 2 seconds and said in a deep voice. What if I don't exchange? Lu Yun exhaled smoke and scratched his head before responding to his words. Instead, he looked at Yang Mi. If I don't change people, are you willing to come home with me for the Chinese New Year? Upon hearing this, Yang Mi was immediately stunned. This. What do you want me to say? I am a girl from every family, but she quickly realized what Lu Yun meant. Looking back carefully, although we didn't talk much along the way, Lu Yun gave her good senses. The person also looks good. First impression is not a problem. And she also had a conversation with Lu Yun's mother, she was very kind and generous. Getting along shouldn't be a problem. In other words, this is her job, and if someone else comes home, they will have to encounter some messy things. She has not had any contact with actors or with their families. I have no understanding at all. Even the parents have met. The answer is already in front of us. In addition, she chose it herself in front of so many people, and if someone were to change, her reputation will also explode. At that time, it is uncertain what kind of rumors will emerge. This will create significant obstacles for her future development, becoming a huge stain on her acting career. From any perspective, not changing people is the most advantageous for her. Thinking of this, Yang Mi didn't hesitate and quickly nodded. I have no problem, I am willing to. Lu Yun nodded. That's okay, Director Zhang. Miss Mi, there's no problem here. At most, it's a bit troublesome on your end. You can't change people, the main problem is on stage, right? The director was taken aback and instinctively nodded. Yes, if Yang Mi is willing, I can do it on my end. That's it. That's fine. Before the director could finish speaking, Lu Yun interrupted. Miss, this is fine, and so is your side. Since that's the case, if you don't change people, I'll handle the rest. As soon as these words were spoken, the 4 people and the director on site were all blinded. You handle it. How do you handle it? Lu Yun smiled and picked up his phone, saying. Just tell me whether you want to exchange it or not. The director twitched his lips in confusion. No change, it's just you, no change. Balancing the pros and cons and not changing people is the best choice, but the subsequent matters will be very troublesome. Okay, let's continue recording the program. I'll handle the rest. After speaking, Lu Yun returned his phone to the director and picked up his phone to play his mother's MSI video. The director looked at the phone with a hint of confusion and said. Director. The director sighed. Let's see how he handles it on his end first. The director didn't know what to do with Lu Yun, so he didn't dare to hang up on the phone. The 4 of them watched in silence as Lu Yun made a video call. Hello, Mom. What's wrong, son? Lu Yun took the cigarette away and glanced at the director. Didn't you just choose a daughter.in.law on the square? Ong. What's wrong? So the girl doesn't want to do it again. Yang Mi's face turned red, a bit awkward. No, it's like this. They were recording a program about mother sheep and had a script. They thought I was an actor, so they mistakenly chose me. Now the misunderstanding has been resolved. Mom knew what was going on as soon as she heard it, she said nonchalantly. Hey, what a big deal. I thought my daughter wasn't willing anymore. Give my old daughter my phone. Lu Yun took a puff at the corner of his mouth, just in time, he could take the opportunity to smoke. Yang Mi took her phone and awkwardly greeted her. Hello, Auntie. I'm sorry, it's all my fault for this. Mom laughed heartily. Little thing, old lady, tell Mom, would you like to come to our house for the Chinese New Year? Yang Mi's face turned even redder. Auntie, let's talk about this. It's really my fault. Personally, I'm willing, that's it. Alright. Mom was very happy when she heard this. As long as you're willing, everything else is easy to say. Upon hearing this, let alone Yang Mi, the director was also deceived. What's the situation? This family didn't take this matter seriously, did they? That's sheep, Mom. It's not a roadside stall, how can we solve this? Yang Mi was a bit conflicted. Auntie, this is the program I recorded for Yang Mama. If we don't change people and go back with Lu Yun, on the other side of the channel. Mom casually picked up a phone from beside her and said. Oh my, old lady, if you don't want to, we can't force you either, but as long as you're willing, anything can be solved easily. Yang Mi looked at Lu Yun in confusion, but Lu Yun was still smoking and ignored her. Auntie. Then. Mom waved her hand and said. You should go home with Lu Yun, just be down to earth with the recorded program. Mom will handle the rest for you. 5 minutes, just 5 minutes. Mom won't even talk nonsense to you for an extra minute. I thought something was wrong, isn't it just a change of person? Mom picked up her phone and started flipping through the numbers, muttering to herself. Upon seeing this, Lu Yun took his phone over and hung up. Alright, my mom said that, so there's no need to worry about the rest of the matter. The director smiled awkwardly, a bit unsure, but fortunately he never hung up the phone. Xiao Li, then just wait for 5 minutes. I happen to communicate with the audience as well. The director nodded, hung up the phone, and Yang Mi and the three of them looked at Lu Yun with a bewildered expression. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 6. 5 minutes, affects sheep mom's decision. Yang. You are listening at novel full.audio. Yang Mi and the other four are like years in seconds, but it is not the four of them who make the decision. I can only stand here foolishly waiting. Even Yang Mi was thinking, should I tell Xing Jia about this and ask her to ask someone to help? But the problem is that's sheep mom. She and Reba had already paid a great price to come to this program. If we entrust someone else. Yang Mi looked conflicted and looked at the three directors silently staring at Lu Yun, sighing incessantly in her heart. Although neither Lu Yun nor his mother took the matter seriously. But they all knew in their hearts how much resistance it would be to replace the actor with Lu Yun. A lot of manpower and material resources were already invested in preparing for the program. There are too many things involved, whether to take the risk of changing people or not. Fortunately, 5 minutes was not long. As soon as Lu Yun's phone rang, the four of them immediately became energized. Lu Yun pinched his cigarette and raised his eyebrows slightly as he looked at Yang Mi-Dao. Are you afraid? Yang Mi was taken aback and her face instantly turned red. No, I'm afraid of something. Lu Yun blinked his eyes. Don't worry, it's a small matter. Speaking, Lu Yun connected to MSI video under the different expressions of the four people's eyes. Hey mom, what's going on? The mother across from her didn't care much. What's going on? Your mom took action, isn't that simple? What a big deal. Give my old girl my phone. Upon hearing this, Lu Yun shrugged helplessly and handed the phone to Yang Mi. It seems that my mother really likes you. Yang Mi took her phone with a hot face and smiled awkwardly. Auntie. Seeing Yang Mi again, my mother immediately burst out laughing with a smile on her face. Oh my, good girl, so beautiful, oh my, so good. When my mother saw Yang Mi, she was just praising her and even blushed when she praised her. The attitude is even better than before, it's just like a different person. Record the program with confidence, and hurry back with Lu Yun. Mom will give you some elbow food. Yang Mi looked at Lu Yun with a flushed face and ears. Auntie. This. Mom couldn't help but know what she meant, giving her a reassuring look. Mom has already arranged for you, just come back as soon as possible, don't worry about anything else. Yang Mi was taken aback, her eyes hesitant to set a channel. Auntie, is this really fake? Can that be fake? Can Mom deceive you? Just record a program, oh, don't take it seriously. This Yang Mi looked at the director in astonishment. The director's face twisted, but before she could speak, the phone rang. He quickly connected. Hello director. Really? The director opened his mouth wide and looked at Yang Mi in a daze. Director Zhang. Ah. Okay, then, let's continue. The director stopped talking nonsense and hung up the phone, looking at the driver and the camera. Hurry up, get in the car. The camera is set up and continue shooting. The station has given feedback, there will be no replacement, so please ask Lu Yun to take a photo. The driver and the camera looked at each other, but now time is tight and there is no time to ask for more details. Besides, asking is useless. They are just workers, they do whatever they are asked to do, and the rest is not something they consider. Watching the two of them run into the car, Yang Mi's eyelids twitched and she looked at Lu Yun in shock. What kind of person is this? What kind of family is this? In less than 5 minutes, can it affect Sheep Mom's decision? Are you joking? The old mother across from Yang Mi grinned as she saw her constantly looking elsewhere. Old lady, can you rest assured this time? Hurry up, come home. Okay, okay. Yang Mi is still in a daze and has not even reacted. Originally, she said she was willing to go back with Lu Yun. What's the point of saying something else at this time? Lu Yun took his phone and looked at his mother, saying, Okay, let's go now and talk about it when we get home. Hurry up, you idiot. You little brat finally got a personnel matter done. Lu Yun was extremely speechless and hung up the phone directly. Did you say that about your own son? I haven't done much yet. Lu Yun murmured and looked at the awkward Yang Mi. Let's go take the bus first. Yang Mi nodded and followed Lu Yun into the car with a flushed face. The director said hello and hurried back. The actor has been changed to Lu Yun, and the other company has also changed. They need to quickly go to Lu Yun's house to arrange the equipment. A lot of things have to be dealt with. The car slowly started and the live broadcast also began. Yang Mi looked at the question mark barrage in the live broadcast room and looked at the camera awkwardly. The camera just malfunctioned, it's okay now, and we're almost at the train station. The audience doesn't know what's going on, just give it a runaround. However, after explaining, Yang Mi couldn't help but look at Lu Yun. She is curious, what is the situation with Lu Yun's family? When we first met, she only felt that Lu Yun was a bit unreliable, not very articulate and very sociable. After all, being careless in front of so many people on the square is something that most people cannot do. But upon closer reflection, she remembered her previous experience. After she promised to go home with him for the Chinese New Year, Lu Yun's attitude immediately changed. I used to think that Lu Yun was an actor, but I didn't care. Looking back now, it seems that he had a slight change at that moment. Observing words and expressions is a basic skill for artists, otherwise they will face directors, producers, and leaders. You can't move a single step. Upon reflection, Lu Yun's mother's attitude also underwent a significant change just now. If his mother seemed to really like him when chatting on the square before, it was just a polite gesture on the surface. That conversation just now, suddenly, really treated her like a daughter.in.law. Yang Mi is very skeptical, feeling that the changes between Lu Yun and his mother are a bit sudden and there are even more. Speaking of Lu Yun, this person. When she was on the square, she felt unreliable, but after his first change, Yang Mi felt that Lu Yun's temperament had undergone some kind of change. From his behavior and demeanor, Lu Yun is not the kind of novice idiot. On the contrary, he is very calm and confident. Looking back now, it seems that there is still an innate sense of luxury, completely different from ordinary people. And he can take Yang Mama's program seriously. That's definitely not easy, but the problem is, why was he so frivolous when he was on the square before? So unreliable. Why did it suddenly become like a different person later on? Because of oneself. Thinking of this, Yang Mi laughed herself. She is indeed a top-tier celebrity, considering herself very beautiful. But this cannot be considered as a factor for a person from a powerful and influential family to make changes. She never felt that her situation could influence the idea of a truly powerful family. She has seen real tycoons, real capital tycoons. That kind of person never changes anything because of a woman. Ordinary people think that top-tier celebrities are very impressive. In fact, in the eyes of truly powerful people, it is just a pleasing red powder skeleton. So, this idea just flashed through her mind for a moment. The specific reason may only be known through contact with Lu Yun. Now she is full of curiosity about Lu Yun. As for Lu Yun. At this moment, he also had a strange expression on his face. Today is really a bad day. It's just to buy some Chinese New Year gifts for my parents and spend time waiting for the plane while shopping. Who would have thought that he had abducted a big celebrity back home and just now? Mom's attitude was a bit problematic, why suddenly became serious. My own mother knows it best. As Yang Mi had imagined, when on the square, despite my mother's enthusiasm, she didn't actually use much genuine emotion. Most of all, it's just being polite. How could his mother be so careless? It's strange after more than half an hour. The two stood on the overpass, looking bewildered at the high-speed train that had just left the station. The wind brought by the high-speed rail also blew their hair. That lonely figure, the big brother on the camera, looked sympathetic. Hurry up slowly, but still miss. If it weren't for getting off halfway to negotiate, the two of them would have really caught up. Unfortunately, I'm sorry. Yang Mi twitched her lips and apologized first. Ultimately, it's all her problem. Lu Yun glanced at his watch and instinctively looked up at the sky. Sure enough, within a few seconds, a plane flew away quickly. Yang Mi. Lu Yun. I'm sorry. Yang Mi murmured to herself, while Lu Yun's eyelids twitched and twitched. Watching the two people's masked expressions on the side, the audience in the live broadcast room laughed wildly. Ha ha ha, it's so funny. Ha ha ha, okay, this time, I missed the train. I need to take the bus back. That plane just now couldn't be the plane this guy was supposed to be on, could it? That's funny. Ha ha ha, laughing and embracing my family, this group is the only one who missed the train, and it's also the farthest group. Reba. Honey, haven't you guys gotten on the train yet? Don't you like taking trains? Bye Lu. Honey, we will be home soon. You guys need to cheer. Li Tong. It's okay, miss me. You can also get home by bus, ha ha ha, are you so weird and sinister? Popularity value +1 +1 +1 +1 +1. The live broadcast room was full of screens, ha ha ha. Even Reba Li Tong and Bai Lu, who had already boarded the train, came to join the fun. Yang Mi glanced at her phone and sighed silently. I just solved a big problem, and now I have encountered another big problem. Time flies, I didn't look at the almanac when I went out today. Upon hearing Lu Yun's words, Yang Mi couldn't help but chuckle. Lu Yun looked at her speechlessly. Laugh, you're still laughing. Yang Mi quickly shut up, although. Puff. What? Lu Yun's face was filled with question marks. Yang Mi quickly waved her hand and said. No, I didn't poop. Ha ha ha, I didn't laugh. Lu Yun twitched the corners of his mouth, with a black line on his face. Yang Mi shyly pressed her lips and said. I'm sorry. Popularity value +1 +1 +1 +1 +1. Popularity value +2 +2 +2, Lu Yun was originally quite speechless, but fortunately his popularity has been increasing, providing some comfort. In just a short while, he gained over 3,300 popularity points. Either he needs to be a big star, the 120,000 online viewers in the live broadcast room have given him a lot of convenience. It seems that taking her home for the Chinese New Year was a very correct decision. And he carefully distinguished, it seems that the popularity values given by ordinary viewers are all +1. That +2 should be Yang Mi. If that's the case, Lu Yun's mind twitched as he squinted his eyes and said. You laugh, anyway it will take 2 days by bus, I don't mind. Sure enough. Upon hearing this, Yang Mi immediately wilted. So, what should we do then? She will die if she really takes the bus for 2 days. Lu Yun looked helplessly at the camera and said. If I missed the train. We can only take a bus back. The camera pressed the corners of his mouth and cleared his throat. According to the program team's requirements, if you miss the train, you can choose any way to go back. But you can't buy a plane ticket. Lu Yun's mind moved and he said. That is to say, we cannot proactively buy air tickets and take a flight back. Any other way is okay. The camera nodded. Yes, this is also one of the tests of the program. Making guests embarrassed is also one of the ratings of the program. If you could really see Yang Mi taking a bus, it is estimated that the number of people in this live broadcast room will definitely reach a new high. Lu Yun nodded and scanned the surrounding environment. Okay, that's what you're saying. Say it. Lu Yun looked at Yang Mi-Dao. My mom said she wants to give you an elbow to eat. If you can't make it back today, you won't be able to eat it. We have to keep our word. You can definitely eat this elbow today. Yang Mi's face turned red, a bit strange. It takes 12 hours to take the train. As Auntie said, it should be tomorrow, right? Lu Yun shook his head. That's definitely not it, my mom. I know her well, so I can say it for sure. If I hadn't let you eat this elbow today, she could have eaten me. Upon hearing this, Yang Mi almost couldn't help but burst out laughing. But the problem is, how can we make it back today without even getting on the train and not being allowed to buy a plane ticket? Honey, let's go. Go home and have some elbow. The camera saw him pretending to leave, so he quickly reached out and said. As agreed, you can go back any way you want, but you can't buy a plane ticket to fly back. Lu Yun waved his hand. Okay, don't worry, I definitely won't buy a plane ticket. Watching Lu Yun walk down the overpass with a bewildered Yang Mi, not to mention being blinded by the camera. Even the audience in the live broadcast room was blinded. What do you mean? He really took Big Honey to buy a bus ticket. It takes 12 hours to take the high-speed train. If they take the bus for 2 days, how could they possibly catch today's elbow? I guess I don't want to lose face in front of Big Honey, right? This elbow won't be worth it if I don't take a plane back. Besides buying a plane ticket, I can't think of any way to make it back today. This guy is dreaming. Ah, elbow, I also want to eat it. I heard that there are many delicious foods in northeast China, but I don't know if they are true or not. This guy is definitely bragging. Hurry back today to eat your elbow. You're joking, aren't you? Reba. What's wrong, Mississippi? Don't you like taking trains or planes? Puff. Ha ha ha. Reba, you're really licking blood on the tip of the knife, ha ha ha. Seeing the barrage of Reba, Yang Mi's teeth itched with anger. Reba. Your bonus is gone. Reba. Ha. Don't, Mississippi/scared, ha ha ha, right, Reba, your bonus is gone. Yang Mi squinted her eyes and said. Don't be complacent. Today's elbow. I'll make sure to eat it. Upon hearing this, Lu Yun turned his head to look at Yang Mi-Dao. Yes. It's designated to be eaten today. Popularity value +2 sure enough. It's Yang Mi. P.S. The data for the new book period is very important, and the young author kneels down to ask for some data from Yanzu. Kneel down and thank you. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. The woman chuckled and made Yang feel nauseous. Although perfume is a luxury brand, it always looks cheap on women. Yang endured nausea with great curiosity. It's quite interesting. He doesn't care about women at all, he only cares about whether he can shine in this program. But if he wants to start a new company and become the boss himself, then this woman must win over. Otherwise, he wouldn't have endured such a pretentious old cow swaying around in front of him. For a moment, he also felt a surge of emotion in his heart. I finally understand the principle that being in the martial arts world is not at all dependent on others. Oh, the number of people in the live broadcast room is 1/3 less, isn't it? Didn't everyone go to see Yang Mi? The woman looked surprised, but there was no sign of unhappiness. For her, just bringing Yang home is enough, she doesn't care about anything else. As for Yang's desire to attend the Spring Festival Gala, as long as she is willing, it is not impossible for her to operate it. Just it depends on whether Yang will have any trouble. Yang frowned slightly and said. It seems that it's really. The number of people online in the live broadcast room is also one of the evaluations, and of course, he is not satisfied with the sudden departure of so many people. Slightly avoiding the camera, Yang also opened the live broadcast room, but he didn't look at his own live broadcast room. But I looked at others. He found that the number of people in other people's live broadcast rooms was similar to his own. Even the number of people in the live broadcast rooms where the top Chinese language is transformed into rain and the top Chinese language is popular is not high. So it seems that they all went to Yang Mi's live broadcast room to watch jokes. Thinking of this, Yang also opened Yang Mi's live broadcast room. Sure enough. The number of people has already reached 200,000. At this time, Lu Yun and Yang Mi had already arrived at the waiting hall. As the Chinese New Year approaches, more and more people are coming by car. Yang Mi curiously pulled her hat and said. Lu Yun, what are we doing here? Of course, we need to find a way back. Lu Yun has been looking around for something, and Yang Mi looks very suspicious. What's the way back? Didn't you miss the train? Do you want to buy a new ticket? Lu Yun shook his head and looked at his popularity, feeling very satisfied in his heart. If you don't buy tickets, you won't be able to buy them at this time. Even if you do, you won't be able to eat your elbow at night. Yang Mi nodded. It was indeed like this, but it has been here all along. Come on. Before Yang Mi could finish pondering, Lu Yun's eyes lit up and he gestured. Then she saw Lu Yun walking straight towards a man handing out flyers. Yang Mi looked at the camera in confusion, but the camera didn't know what medicine was being sold in Lu Yun's gourd. I can only catch up with Lu Yun with Yang Mi. The man who distributed the flyers saw Lu Yun walking over and quickly smiled and said. Friend, where are you going? Upon hearing these words, Yang Mi was immediately stunned. What does it mean? Is this a scalper? But it's too late to take the train and not allowed to take the plane. Why are you looking for scalpers? Lu Yun glanced at the flyer in his hand and said. Where did everyone go? The man laughed at the words. This is a professional and legitimate place, you can go anywhere, it depends on where you want to go. At this moment, he also saw the camera. Hey! Friend, where are you recording the program? Lu Yun smiled nonchalantly. No, our young lady is going out to play for the first time and needs to record a life vlog. I originally bought a train ticket to experience life, but I was stuck in traffic and missed it. The man suddenly looked at Yang Mi curiously, but Yang Mi was wearing a hat and pressing down on the brim, so he could only see the lower half of his face. The children of wealthy families go out to play and have more special requirements, which he understands very well. However, he is very happy about Yang Mi's identity. If you can afford such professional equipment, you must have money. Having money is good, the richer the better. Especially for people who don't come out very often and have a lot of money, they are foolish. Hey, isn't it that the Chinese New Year is approaching? With so many cars and people, it's normal to miss the deadline. The man chuckled and began to calculate in his heart. Lu Yun nodded. We're going to Erbin, do we? The man bared his teeth without hesitation. Do you have it? It must be there. My hometown is Erbin. Lu Yunwei raised his eyebrows and said. Oh. So coincidental. That must be a coincidence. I'm very familiar with Erbin, my friend. When are you planning to leave? Lu Yun glanced at his watch and said. The faster, the better. I can't afford to wait, Mississippi. The man chuckled and said. That's no problem. Tomorrow, leave at 6 o'clock in the morning, okay? Tomorrow happens to be my buddy leading the team. I told him to take care of you more. Lu Yun shook his head and looked at him with deep meaning. I want today's. The man was taken aback and a bit confused. Today? Yes. Lu Yun blinked his eyes and said. We will depart this afternoon so that we can have more fun. As he spoke, he also glanced at Yang Mi beside him. Upon seeing this, Yang Mi quickly lowered her hat, and the man looked at Lu Yundao with deep meaning in his eyes. Oh, this thing. I understand. The man pondered for a moment, flipped through the promotional flyer in his hand, and was very puzzled. Friend, you're leaving today, oh. Lu Yun sneered in his heart and said calmly on the surface. Money is not a problem, I will arrive in the afternoon. The man's eyes lit up and his face was covered in confusion as he pressed his lips. It's easy to say about money. This is a legitimate place where prices are clearly stated, so let's just. Let's do it this way. The man hesitated and took out a promotional flyer to hand to Lu Yun. This is our new route and also the most comprehensive and cheapest route to northeast China. One person 988, can you take a look? Lu Yun looked at the promotional flyer. Can you arrive this afternoon? That must be possible, I promise. Lu Yun's pleasure made the man very happy, he said with a determined expression on his face. We only have 2 spots left, but it's still because an old couple couldn't go due to unforeseen circumstances. Otherwise, you won't be able to catch up with this good opportunity. Yang Mi was taken aback and instinctively looked at the brochure in Lu Yun's hand. Lu Yun, this is. Lu Yun handed her the promotional flyer casually. Upon seeing it, Yang Mi was immediately stunned, along with the audience in the live broadcast room. Erbin's 3-day and 2-night tour. This is a tour group. No. Isn't this going home? How did you join the tour group? Sleeping slot. Sleeping slot. Sleeping slot. What a genius is this guy. What did you say upstairs? Why is it just a genius, what do you think? They missed the train and couldn't take the plane. If they want to go back as soon as possible, a tour group is the best choice. Sleeping slot. Why didn't I think of this good solution? Isn't that right, brother? Most tour groups use buses, and they can save some trouble by not having to buy their own tickets, but the route is fixed and not much faster. Are you silly, brother? How could the travel group possibly take a bus at such a long distance? They all take planes. Didn't that person mention it? They will definitely arrive this afternoon. Hey. That's not right either. The production team has regulations that prohibit flying. The program team's policy is that he cannot buy his own plane ticket to take a flight, nor does it say that he cannot participate in a travel group. Can someone buy him a plane ticket? As soon as this sentence was spoken, the live broadcast room was filled with question marks. Subsequently, there were endless sleeping slots and 666. Sleeping slot. Sleeping slot. Bully. Really amazing. This guy is a genius. My mom. This live broadcast room is right, hahaha, it's much more interesting to watch here than to see others. This Lu Yun is so funny. You really know how to manipulate. Why didn't I think of using this method? I just said why did he keep asking about camera rules, which perfectly avoided the rules of the production team. Sleeping slot. I'm going to find a friend here to see how Lu Yun is doing. It's amazing. Ha ha ha. In an instant, an endless wave of popularity +1 +1 came to Lu Yun's mind. Yang Mi naturally didn't know that the live broadcast room had already started to stir up trouble, and looked at Lu Yundao with puzzled eyes. Why do you want to join a tour group? Lu Yun looked at her with a smile on his face and said. Didn't you miss the train time? Yang Mi is not a fool. People who have been wandering in the entertainment industry for years can't help but understand what Lu Yun means in his eyes. She murmured with some remorse. It's all my fault. If only I had come out earlier. Lu Yun said dumbfounded. It's okay, if we miss it, we'll just figure out a solution. Although their voices were not loud, the man could hear them very clearly. After calming down, a hint of strangeness flashed in his eyes. It's okay, it's okay. If you're in a hurry, I'll get in touch with you now and see if those 2 positions haven't been confirmed yet, I'll add them to you. There was a hint of joy in Lu Yun's eyes, as if he was finally about to reveal his true feelings. Oh, thank you so much. Lu Yun seemed to realize that he had missed something and quickly pretended to be calm. Could you please ask? If possible, we can pay and leave immediately. Okay, then wait for me. As he spoke, the man took out his phone and walked aside to make a phone call. Yang Mi took the opportunity to hurry up and whispered in front of Lu Yun. What are you doing? Lu Yun blinked and said. Of course I want to take you home, right? Yang Mi blushed and whispered in a twisted voice. Oh, I know. How can I go home with the tour group? Lu Yun glanced at his phone and handed it over to her. Just take a look and you'll know. Yang Mi took her phone suspiciously and was taken aback when she saw that the number of people in the live broadcast room had skyrocketed to 250,000. Then he lifted his head in astonishment. How does your brain grow, you? Can you think of such an incredible way? Lu Yun blinked and said. Normal operation, little meaning. Seeing Yang Mi so happy, Lu Yun also showed a rare smile. I haven't violated the program's rules, and I want to fulfill my promise to you. I can only think of more ways. Yang Mi's eyes were filled with joy, and she was surprised by Lu Yun's operation. Lu Yun, you're really amazing. Popularity value +2 +2 +2. Yang Mi smiled and looked at the barrage on her phone, intending to see how the audience praised Lu Yun. After all, this is the person she chose herself. If Lu Yun is praised, she must have a smile on her face. But soon, her face changed. Wait a minute. Lu Yun, look at what they say. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 8. If it's really not possible, let's call the police and have the production team. You are listening at novelfull.audio. What's wrong? Look at what they're saying. Yang Mi glanced at the man who was still on the phone, and then hurriedly handed over her phone. Lu Yun curiously retrieved his phone and looked at the barrage. Lu Yun. You must be careful, most travel agencies nowadays are not legitimate, don't be deceived. Yeah, I just remembered that he said 998 alone, and the tickets from Mordor to Erbin are all around 1200. They won't do any loss-making business. Usually, such cheap travel groups are shopping groups that will bring you to a place for consumption. If you don't spend enough money, you won't leave. Black-hearted groups will also detain people and force them to buy things. If you don't buy, you won't drive, they will curse, and in severe cases, they will even threaten you personally. Yeah, Lu Yun, although this idea is good, you should go to a legitimate travel agency and spend more money back. That person is so easy to talk to, and he always laughs. If he doesn't mention the key point, he must be deceiving others. Reba. Honey, don't fall for it. It's okay to go back late, but don't be deceived. Seeing the barrage, Lu Yun didn't react much. But Yang Mi is a bit anxious. Lu Yun. Lu Yun shook his head, intending to say something, but the man had already returned. He laughed heartily and said. Friends, you're so lucky that those 2 seats haven't been booked yet. If you want to leave, let's set off for the airport now and there's still time. Lu Yun said with a joyful expression in his eyes. That's kind of you. Let's go, let's go. Okay. Before Yang Mi could ask again, Lu Yun had already made a decision. Sleeping trough, this guy is a real tough guy. Our kind reminder seems to be of no use at all. Truly speechless, is this Lu Yun silly? We've all said that, can't he just pass his mind? He insists on taking big honey to get scammed. Greed for cheap prices. Buying your own plane ticket costs over 1,000 yuan, so joining a tour group can save you hundreds of dollars, isn't it? Good advice is hard to persuade damn ghosts. When they are forced to buy things with their big honey, they will know how to lose face. Big Mimi has money, let Big Mimi buy/get married. If he really does this, he won't be afraid of us scolding him to death. In order to assemble the batch, I also put it together. Hee, just as I said he was a genius, it immediately took its original form. Big honey, you can't go with him. Such a cheap group, the percentage has been deceived, it's not a big deal. My mother has participated in such a group before and was forced to spend over 80,000 yuan, which made me extremely angry. My aunt has also been deceived before and was scolded to death by our whole family. It's useless to call the police. I'm really impressed, isn't all of Lu Yun's brain used for loading batches? This kind of black group, if you don't buy anything anywhere, they won't let you go. It sounds good, but in reality, they all take you to various places to consume. Wait, it's really not possible. Let's call the police and let the production team go and catch people. Watching the audience in the live broadcast room become furious, Yang Mi looked at Lu Yun with great concern. At this moment, Lu Yun has already taken out his phone and scanned the man's code to make the payment. Lu Yun. As soon as Yang Mi spoke, she saw Lu Yun waving his hand behind her back. Although she didn't understand, she still pressed the worry button and followed the 2 towards the outside of the waiting hall. The man smiled and chatted with Lu Yun about his family life, saying that there were many good things in northeast China, but he didn't mention anything about the travel group. It was only when the man waved his hand that he delivered it all the way to a small bus. Friend, I wish you all a happy time, so I won't give it away. Lu Yun waved his hand like an iron fool. Alright, thank you, brother. Hey, what are you thanking us for? Have fun, go ahead. The man pulled the door open, waved his hand, and the minibus slowly set off. Sitting on the minibus in a daze, Yang Mi looked anxiously at the elderly people around her who were not many. She leaned against Lu Yun awkwardly and whispered softly. Lu Yun. Didn't you watch the barrage? I've seen it. Lu Yun, the old god, swept around in a circle. I've seen it all. Yang Mi's eyelids twitched. Did you make a decision so quickly after seeing it? Lu Yun blinked his eyes and whispered in Yang Mi's ear. Because I knew this was a black group for a long time. Yang Mi was immediately blinded by the words. You already knew. Lu Yun shrugged his shoulders. Of course, Lu Yun smiled and looked at Yang Mi sitting next to him. Those who can post small advertisements in the waiting hall are small hotels without offices. Some even have no stores, just to deceive tourists from other places or those who are greedy for cheap goods. Such tour groups are all black groups, also known as consumer groups. In addition, he never introduced his travel agency or routes from beginning to end, only providing a location and a rough route. That means his team is not only irregular, but also very dark. Lu Yun blinked and said. Didn't he say from the beginning that he was a legitimate professional? The more he lacked something, the more he emphasized it. Upon hearing what Lu Yun said, let alone Yang Mi, the audience in the live broadcast room were all blinded. Why are you still looking for him when you know he's a gangster? Lu Yun slowly raised the corner of his mouth and whispered in a deep and meaningful voice. Because I have a way to make sure he doesn't let us consume or blackmail us, ah. Yang Mi had a black question mark on her face. Lu Yun, please don't mess around. I heard those who run black hotels are all. Lu Yun shook his head and leaned against the window, staring at her small face. Believe me. Seeing that Lu Yun was staring intently, Yang Mi couldn't help but feel a fever on her face. Rao was used to the big scene, but at this moment, he also showed a rare little girl's posture and shyly avoided his gaze. Okay. Okay. Upon careful consideration, we encountered one thing after another at the beginning of this journey. Whatever it is, it would be difficult for her to handle. On Lu Yun's body, he is always so calm and indifferent that he doesn't even take it seriously. In terms of stability, as an elderly person who has been struggling in the entertainment industry for several years, she is not as good as a child who has just graduated for less than 2 years. That's right. He can solve the problems of the cast members on the show, this black in it should also be able to solve it. Soon. The time has arrived at 11:20 a.m. They three also followed a few old men and women to the waiting hall. Because their luggage had already been checked in, they were also considered to be light on the battlefield. The plane took off at around 12 o'clock, and the tour group kindly distributed a boxed lunch. The audience also laughed heartily when they saw Lu Yun and his wife eating boxed meals in the waiting hall. After all, in their perception, celebrities like Yang Mi must have eaten big fish and big meat, and they definitely haven't eaten cheap boxed meals like this. In fact, Yang Mi is not picky about what to eat, and she often eats on set, which she doesn't resist anyway. Let's just make do with it for now. Anyway, it's just for free. When you get home, I'll make up for it for you. Yang Mi's face turned red, as if shyness had been accompanying her all along. Since meeting Lu Yun, that little face has never been normal. She finds it strange herself. Oh my, I didn't eat less boxed meals on the set, it's okay. Lu Yun smiled and gave Yang Mi a chicken leg from his boxed lunch. Eat more, you're too thin. Yang Mi was taken aback and instinctively wanted to say no, but when she saw that Lu Yun was enjoying the food, she pressed it. The feeling that Lu Yun gave her was really strange, it was the first time she had seen such a person. Based on her life and work experience, what kind of man has she never seen? Handsome and ugly, tall and short, smooth-tongued and straightforward. But those people, regardless of their status, always face her with strange eyes and emotions. She can understand, after all, she is a female artist, it's normal to have thoughts about her. Take the audience in the live broadcast room as an example, a large part of them are because they like her appearance. This is something that every female artist will experience and need to accept. So when it comes to dealing with stress and resisting strange looks, she feels that she can already have a thick skin. But when Lu Yun looked at her, he was always calm. Only when the two were very close together would he tilt his head and take a closer look. But there has never been anything strange in his eyes. If there is, it is also appreciation and curiosity. Of course, he also talks like a flower, and is very frivolous in dancing and lustful. But in Yang Mi's opinion, even when he has a beard, he is just joking and joking. Not very harmonious. This person's emotions are too stable. Why on earth is this? Is it because of his family background? So, his mother is also an interesting person. Yang Mi became increasingly curious about Lu Yun's home and thought to herself that going back with him for the Chinese New Year might be a very good decision. Just to see, what kind of family can influence Yang Mama's decision in just 5 minutes. Waiting is boring, but as Lu Yun and Yang Mi chatted, they became more and more familiar. After all, I am from northeast China, born with good eloquence and a pleasant voice. Yang Mi is often amused and giggles. If it weren't for the many old men and women around her, she would have burst out laughing. By contrast, although others have already arrived home, compared to the live broadcast rooms of Lu Yun and the others, they are not by a hair's breadth. Finally. The two of them followed a group of old men and women onto the plane and embarked on their way home. P.S. New books, flowers, evaluations, monthly tickets. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 9. Forced buying and selling. Restricting freedom. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Come on, gentlemen and aunties, be careful. Put on all your clothes, it's cold outside. At the entrance of the bus, a young man shouted with a small flag. The old men and women in the car also began to walk down. Lu Yun saw that Yang Mi was not wearing much, so he pulled up the hat of the down jacket for her. Northeast China is very cold. Let's buy you some more clothes when we go home. Yang Mi nodded curiously and kept looking out the window. The plane was flying quickly and arrived at the hotel entrance around 3 p.m. in the afternoon. Although they don't need to stay in a hotel, Lu Yun has his own plan and everything will be arranged by the travel agency first. But as expected. As soon as I got off the car, the cold wind whizzed down my neck. Yang Mi couldn't help but exclaim. My mom, it's really cold. Lu Yun chuckled and tightened his suit, saying. This place and the demon are completely two worlds, much colder than the capital city. Really? The tour guide saw everyone coming down and waved the small flag, saying. The rooms are all open for you. Go and pack your luggage quickly. I'll take you to the surrounding places for a stroll first, and tomorrow we'll go to Sun Island to play. A group of old men and women thought they had found a big bargain, so they happily went back with their spouse to put their luggage. Lu Yun and Yang Mi don't need it, they just sit in the corner of the hall and wait. Yang Mi held a hot water cup and shook her head with her legs. It's really cold here, Lu Yun. Shall we leave now? Lu Yun glanced at the tour guide standing at the door making a phone call. I won't be able to leave now, wait a little longer. Yang Mi was taken aback and put down her water glass. Wait. Wait for what? Lu Yun leaned back in his chair and looked at his phone, saying. At this time, they will have many reasons not to let you go, even if you call the police. Because we signed a contract with them, we had to pay a penalty for breach of contract if we missed the order. Even if it weren't for this, they had other reasons. Yang Mi looked at him with suspicion. Isn't waiting the same thing? Still can't we leave? Lu Yun shook his head, and the old god was on the way. That's not it, it's just a waste of time. Play with him. Speaking, Lu Yun dialed his mother's phone. Hello. Mom. We're here. We're at the hotel. Ice Flower Road, I'm here, okay. Oh. Come on, Mom, what's the big deal? You're holding back and scaring people out. Keep a low profile, Z. Then I'll go back on my own. Okay, that's it then, hold on and do it. Hanging up the phone, Lu Yun looked speechless. I'm really impressed. Every day, am I your son or not? Although she didn't know what Lu Yun and his mother were talking about, every time she saw Lu Yun feeling exhausted, Yang Mi wanted to laugh. Is Auntie coming to pick us up? Lu Yun nodded. Yes, someone is coming to pick us up, let's just wait. Upon hearing these words, Yang Mi immediately felt relieved. The audience in the live broadcast room looked skeptical, but as a result, the number of people online was increasing. The number of people in the other people's live broadcast room has almost halved. Hua Qingyu and Yang Yang's nose are getting angry. But no matter how they manipulate it, it's not as interesting as Lu Yun's side. After all, Lu Yun is still in a situation of being deceived, and they all want to know how Lu Yun will lead Yang Mi to leave with him. The Black Brigade understands everything. Not to mention restricting your personal freedom, there's no difference. They go to great lengths to make money. Plus, This is a sunset ball filled with old men and women, which is even more frightening. The tour guide happily raised the flag and led everyone towards the nearby shopping mall. Ladies and gentlemen, be careful to keep your feet high and don't fall. We arrived early today, so we can take more turns. After the transfer is over, I will take you to dinner. Take a good rest today, and let's go play early tomorrow morning. The director walked and spoke enthusiastically, while Lu Yun, who was walking at the back, looked around with a smile on his face. This place wasn't like this before, it seems to have been newly opened for a while. Yang Mi looked bewildered and didn't quite understand what Lu Yun was saying. Lu Yun saw the tour guide enter a place similar to a large supermarket and nodded with his chin. Did you see it? This is where they forced consumption. Yang Mi nodded seriously. These people are really bad. Bad. That's something worse you've never seen before. Lu Yun sighed inwardly and said that Yang Mi is still young. She is in the entertainment industry and what she sees is completely different from what ordinary people see. Everyone rushed in, and the tour guide enthusiastically introduced the things inside the counter. Grandpa and Grandma, take a look. This is a specialty of Anshan in northeast China, Xiuyan jade. This is one of the 4 famous jade in our Dragon Kingdom, belonging to the category of tremolite jade. Its texture is simple and dignified, making it a very precious type of rough jade. The tour guide smiled and introduced the jade products to a group of old men and women, but did not notice that Lu Yun had been recording videos with his phone since entering the door. Ladies and gentlemen, take a look. Do you like anything? You can try it on. Although these old men and women are old and have some money, they shook their heads when they saw those priced at either 80,000 or 90,000 yuan. This is too expensive. This is not expensive, Mom. The tour guide's face was clearly a bit displeased upon hearing this, but he still patiently said. One of the 4 famous jades, they are all rare and authentic products. How could they be expensive? Besides, cheap is not good, is it? Take a look, this is so good. You can try it on and it will definitely look good. The tour guide couldn't help but ask the salesperson to take out a large bracelet and put it on the old lady. Look, how beautiful it looks, isn't it? Gaga, it's just 88,000 yuan, how suitable is it? You buy it back and make sure it doesn't make any mistakes. Come on, girl, swipe your aunt's card. The old lady hasn't realized yet, so this bracelet is hers. You'll wait a moment. The old lady looked at the POS machine in front of her, and everyone was dumbfounded. I didn't say to buy it either. Can this thing be worth 88,000 yuan? The tour guide chuckled. That must be possible. We have a nationally certified certificate here, and there is nothing wrong with it. You can buy it and wear it well, prolong life, and even treat illnesses. As he spoke, he quickly winked at the salesperson. The salesperson clearly didn't do this for the first time, and handed the POS machine to the tour guide very quickly. The old lady's face changed as she looked at it. I don't want this thing, it's too expensive. I'll take a look at something else. The tour guide's face darkened upon hearing these words. Auntie, our group is a travel group. We came out to have fun. Don't make yourself unhappy. The tour guide was thick and fierce, and when she stared, the old lady's legs immediately became weak. As soon as others looked, they immediately realized that this travel group was a black group, but now they are not familiar with their place and cannot even run if they want to. The old lady knew that if she didn't buy this thing today, she wouldn't be able to sell it well, so she had to bite her toothbrush and get stuck. The tour guide was very happy at the sight and immediately hugged the old lady's shoulder. Auntie, this good thing can be used as a family heirloom, and you can keep it for your grandson. The old lady chuckled twice, her teeth itching with anger. The tour guide didn't care and looked at other people. Grandpa and Grandma, are you also picky? That tone means that if you don't buy, you won't be able to leave today. Everyone turned pale and dared not resist, so they gritted their teeth and picked some cheaper ones from the counter. No matter how cheap it won't cost 50,000 yuan. This can make the audience in the live broadcast room very angry. What is this horse stomping thing? Expose it. Expose it, this is forced buying and selling. This is illegal. A group of grandparents are also bullying him like this, he is too inhumane. I've already said that such cheap groups are all shopping groups, don't you think? Don't be sarcastic, these elderly people are too pitiful. I need to call the police. It's useless for you to report to the police. They all have connections with the local area to dare to be so blatant. Otherwise, who would dare to do this? Today, Lu Yun and Mimi are finished. If we don't buy some and leave, we might not even be able to leave the door. I reminded him before that he didn't listen and insisted on buying this tour group in order to come back early. How about this time? He saved a few hundred and had to pay tens of thousands more. It's really dark, how come there are still people like this now? They used to be seen in the news, but now I don't expect to see them with my own eyes. Treading on horses is infuriating. Sleeping on the trough. We still have this kind of scumbag in northeast China. I'm just not at home, I have to go over and give them big ear melon seeds at home. Brother, calm down. There are always scumbags everywhere. I met them today. Now, it depends on how they get away. If it doesn't work, we can only report it to the police. We can all be witnesses. The tour guide didn't know that all the cameras behind were captured. Listening to the beeping sound of swiping cards, I looked at Lu Yun and Yang Mi-Dao, who had been standing at the door but had not come in, with a happy mood. Hey! I remember you guys were the last to add in, right? Lu Yunben was still tinkering with his phone when he heard him speak and looked up. Yes, we added it later. So why don't you also choose? These things are all quite good. Lu Yun saw him walking over with ill intentions and slowly curled up the corner of his mouth, saying, We have something else to do, we have to go. The tour guide was taken aback and said with a teasing smile in his eyes. Let's go. This is a tour group, not a bus ride. You can get off wherever you want. If I bring it to you, I have to take it with me. Otherwise, how can we open this group? We are responsible for your personal safety. He bit the 3 words of responsibility very hard, and the threat was already evident in his words. Lu Yun didn't expect this person to appear in their original form when they arrived at the place. He thought he had to wait until he left quickly. Eating looks really ugly. Lu Yun murmured, making the tour guide feel a bit confused. What are you talking about? Lu Yun tilted his head and said with a half smile. I said. You look really ugly when you eat. The tour guide's face immediately changed upon hearing these words. Friend. What do you mean? Yang Mi instinctively clenched the corner of Lu Yun's clothes when she saw his ferocious spirit. She didn't expect this person to change their face when they said they would. Lu Yun pulled her behind and looked up and down at the tour guide. Are you a local? The tour guide sneered and looked up proudly. Yes, I am a local, what's the problem? Lu Yun nodded, not wanting to talk nonsense to him. I had already thought about it when I was looking for a travel group. If they are legitimate, it's okay to give them a penalty when they leave on their own. All for the sake of making a living, there is no need to go online. If you're playing black, then it's a different story. It's hard for him to say anything in the Magic City, but when he gets here. Hee, you guys play with us, let's go with us, let's just pretend we haven't seen each other before. Upon hearing Lu Yun's words, the tour guide burst into laughter. Friend, you're really interesting. When you come out to play, it's all for fun. What does it mean to just pretend you've never met before? Seeing the tour guide's attitude getting worse and worse, Yang Mi teased Lu Yun with some fear. Lu Yun. Don't don't argue with them. Lu Yun turned around and gave her a reassuring look, looking at the tour guide and pondering. I am also local, and my home is not far from here. The tour guide didn't expect him to say so, and sneered disdainfully. Little brother, if you don't have a northeastern accent, you must be from northeast China. Can you stop being funny with your buddies? Lu Yun sighed and knew that this matter had come to an end. I've given you an opportunity, you can't seize it. Speaking, Lu Yun picked up his phone and dialed the number. The tour guide didn't stop him, but instead looked at Lu Yundao with a humorous expression. What are you doing? Call the police. Do you want me to give you the phone number of Songbei police station? Beat that faster. Lu Yun ignored him and gently patted Yang Mi's little hand, and finally someone answered the phone. Hello. Uncle Chen. It's me, haha. Yes, did you watch the video I just sent you? Oh. So fast. Okay. The Chinese New Year has caused you trouble. Okay, I won't care about the rest of it, okay. No problem. Then you have to go. Haha. Okay Uncle Chen, goodbye. Goodbye. Hanging up the phone, Lu Yun looked at the tour guide with a full expression on his face as he watched the play again. Without any accidents, you will soon receive the call. The tour guide sneered and tilted his head with both hands in his pockets. Friend, who are you scaring from here? Without explanation, Lu Yun turned his head to look at Yang Mi-Dao. Wait a little longer, we'll go home. Aha. Yang Mi is a bit scared, this is the first time she has encountered such a thing. After all, she is not the same young boss who dominated the entertainment industry as Lu Yun in her past life. My knowledge, vision, and abilities are not yet in place. The first time I encountered something, I must have been a bit panicked. This is very normal. Fortunately, within 2 minutes, the tour guide's phone really rang. The tour guide's face changed slightly and he quickly connected, and then Lu Yun saw that his face was very ugly. After hanging up the phone, the tour guide forced out a smile and changed his face faster than flipping through a book. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Look, this flood has washed over the Dragon King Temple, hasn't it? Friend, if you have something to discuss, can I take you back? Seeing the tour guide suddenly change his face, not to mention Yang Mi, even the audience in the live broadcast room were blinded. What situation is this? The last second we had to fight and kill, but the next second we changed our minds. However, this is not over yet. Before Lu Yun could speak, several police cars suddenly stopped at the door. When Yang Mi, the camera, and the audience in the live broadcast saw a group of people rushing in. Suddenly stunned. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 10. A phone, shake people. You must shake someone. You are listening at novelfull.audio. No, buddy. Hey. Wait a minute, buddy. What does it mean? The tour guide turned green when he saw someone. However, they won't care what you say, they just twisted their arms and took it away. Hey wait, buddy. What does this mean? You are suspected of using threats, intimidation, and other means to force buying and selling, restrict personal freedom, and other illegal and criminal activities. We need to take you back to investigate now. No. I didn't threaten, did I? They all volunteered. Volunteer. The tour guide was frightened, but he had already obtained the video and there were still witnesses. It was impossible for him to escape. Lu Yun didn't say anything from beginning to end, but the live broadcast room exploded. Sleeping slot. Sleeping slot. Who exactly is this Lu Yun? I'll go. A phone call. The black tour guide is gone. This horse stomping is a bit ridiculous, right? It's funny, isn't it? This is gone. This tour guide is gone. What should these elderly people do? Didn't someone come into contact with them? They can definitely be arranged, they are still witnesses. Wachow, is this Lu Yun too awesome? Who did he call for? Is he so arrogant? We should treat these grandsons well. It's a shame in the tour guide industry. Troubles. Punish him. Punish him severely. This Lu Yun looks ordinary, how could he have such great energy? It's a bit amazing, isn't it? Is he still ordinary and unremarkable? A person who is more handsome than Yenzu, do you think he is ordinary and unremarkable? Bully, that's it. Lying down, I just pressed my chin, but I can't do it. I need to call a friend to watch the live broadcast. This Lu Yun is too suspenseful. Popularity value +1 +1 +1 +1 +1. Popularity value +2 +2 +2. Although Lu Yun did not watch the barrage in the live broadcast room, the popularity value that came to his mind was still very real. In just over a half day, he has already gained 210,000 popularity points. It's simply terrifying. According to the popular shopping mall, he can already buy 2 random professions or master skills. But if you want to buy the one you choose, it's a bit close. That one requires a popularity value of 1 million. But following today's path, Lu Yun feels that buying any abilities in the future is not just a dream. When he first saw that those professions and skills required 1 million popularity points, he thought it was a bit of nonsense. Actually, it doesn't seem that difficult to operate. In addition, Yang Mi's popularity value is slightly higher than others, so you can also put in some effort on her in the future. Thinking of this, Lu Yun waited until all those people had left before turning back to look at Yang Mi with a bewildered face. What are you thinking? Yang Mi suddenly regained her senses and looked at Lu Yun with a surprised expression on her face. No, it's not. Lu Yun, they. Lu Yun pursed his lips, unable to explain anything in front of the camera, and could only ha. We are law-abiding citizens and have the obligation to report any illegal or criminal incidents to the police. Yang Mi looked incredulous. She's not a fool, how could anyone report to the police so quickly? Lu Yun smiled and glanced at someone who had already gone to communicate with the group of elderly people, then tilted his head and said. Let's go. Let's go home. The matter here has been resolved, and there is no need for him to handle the aftermath work. Hurry home and take Yang Mi to eat the elbow made by his mother. That's the way. Otherwise he can't have a better day today. Yang Mi and the camera followed Lu Yun out of the store in a daze, and stood at the door again. Yang Mi had a very strange feeling. Lu Yun. That person. Lu Yun took out a cigarette and said to his mouth. He broke the law, so what should be done? Speaking of which, he lit a cigarette and pondered for a moment. If you're lucky, you might still receive a refund. Yang Mi was taken aback, her face full of astonishment. Ah! Can we still get a refund? Lu Yun exhaled a cigarette, glanced in the direction, and then tightened his suit. These are all small matters, don't worry. If you quit, you'll quit. If you don't quit, you won't quit. Let's go quickly, it's so cold. At this moment, there was a gust of wind, and Yang Mi suddenly became excited. Right, let's go quickly. For Lu Yun, Yang Mi became even more skeptical. The more she looked at Lu Yun, the less she understood. What kind of family background is this from? A phone call that shook the police. Of course. She was very certain that Lu Yun had definitely called the police, otherwise what would they be doing here? And those who don't all look like police, it seems there are people from other departments. They didn't speak even when they saw Lu Yun, so they probably don't know each other. So, the identity of the person Lu Yungang just called is a bit it's too deep with confusion. Yang Mi followed Lu Yun with small steps and quickly rushed to the roadside. And at this moment, some good netizens have already posted the burning operation of Lu Yun on Weibo. Not long after, the topic of Lu Yun's intellectual battle against the Black Heart Travel Agency made it onto the hot search. This also made many people inexplicably enter Yang Mi's live broadcast room, causing the number of people in Yang Mi's live broadcast room to quickly reach 350000, reaching new heights in the program. The live broadcast room of the other 7 people, the most popular, is only over 90,000 people in the Reba live broadcast room. Like at least Wu Sancher, there are only over 40,000 people in the live broadcast room. And Lu Yun's popularity is skyrocketing wildly. Before he could reach the roadside, he already had a popularity of 350,000, which can be said to be terrifying. The director and his staff, who had been following the 2 people in the background, were blinded by the number of people online in Yang Mi's live broadcast room. The director in charge of Yang Mi was about to leave, and upon seeing this scene, he couldn't help but stop walking. Isn't it? Director. Isn't this a bit outrageous? Our program has started broadcasting, with only 400,000 viewers online, which has already exceeded 90% of variety shows. Now, her live streaming room alone has reached 350,000 online viewers. The director's eyelids twitched and he pursed his lips. You seem to have forgotten that attracting so many people is because of Lu Yun. And he's just an ordinary person, and he even went on Weibo's hot search. Upon hearing these words, everyone was immediately taken aback. They all remembered the phone call the director answered, even the director remembered. Director. Who exactly is this Lu Yun? The director opened his mouth and said softly with a slight frown. I don't know. But could you please invite the leaders and... The director believes that it's better not to make such things public, as there may be some other things inside. This matter, as well as the matter of Lu Yun, should not be discussed or spread externally. Be firm with your mouth. Everyone knew the importance and urgency, and quickly nodded to show understanding. The director frowned and pondered. So, let's first focus on the mainstream content in Yang Mi's live broadcast room. Since they are so popular, let's focus on their live broadcast room first. Soft articles and media are also tilted, and communication is also taking place on Weibo. I can't say, we can still create history. Upon hearing this, everyone nodded and knew very well that as long as there were no issues, it would definitely become a hot-selling product this year and early next year. At that time, not only the director will benefit, but they will also gain many benefits. The program team here is starting to operate crazily. And Lu Yun and the other 2 quickly arrived at the roadside. Are you scared? Lu Yun held a cigarette in his mouth and tried to hold back his smile. Yang Mi twitched her lips and said. Yes, isn't that right? That person was so fierce just now, he wanted to fight. Lu Yun bared his teeth and gestured his biceps. Even if you fight, I can still protect you. Yang Mi's face turned red and she proudly bid farewell. Stop talking. Fighting is not good, it's illegal. That's what I said. That won't do either. Okay, Lu Yun couldn't help but laugh and cry, but it was indeed the first time he had seen such a Yang Mi. I'm here to show off a man's power. Do men know? There's nothing wrong with protecting you. Watching Lu Yun still gesturing her biceps, Yang Mi couldn't help but chuckle. Okay, you're amazing. Alright. Popularity value +2 +2 +2, Lu Yun blinked and said. Hee, that must be impressive, and I'm much more impressive. Where did I get here? You will definitely be surprised in the future. Yang Mi squinted her eyes slightly and gritted her teeth with a hot face. Little brat, are you driving in front of your sister? What about our recordable program? I'll tell you. Lu Yun looked at her with a bewildered expression and said. Driving. I don't have it, do I? How serious am I? Lu Yun gestured his biceps again. Seriously, look. Yang Mi chuckled twice, her face speechless. You really? Poop. Don't be so talkative. As she spoke, Yang Mi playfully gave Lu Yun a slap on the arm, and the audience in the live broadcast room shouted loudly. Oh my God. Isn't this a bit too sweet? Woo-woo, it's a bit bumpy. What should we do with this pair, Jime? Miss Mi is so cute. My big honey. Woo-woo, big honey, you can hit me hard. Damn it, why is Lu Yun so lucky to bring big honey home / tears streaming down his face? This hasn't arrived yet, it's just so sweet. If we get home, my goodness, I can't even think about it. Just acting on the spot, are you serious about it? Sunglasses, have you the ability to take off your sunglasses? Sunglasses / tears streaming down your face, popularity value +1 +1 +1 +1. Just as the audience in the live broadcast was watching the two people playing and scattering dog food, a car slowly stopped in front of the two people. Seeing Maybach, Yang Mi, and the camera were both stunned. The live broadcast room also began to display full-screen question marks. Only Lu Yun, with a black line on his face. Lu Yun, this car. Isn't it just here to pick us up, is it? Yang Mi murmured softly, feeling a bit confused. This car is the one she comes with now, and it's also very painful, belonging to the kind of car that can't be bought and driven. Don't be fooled by the constant clamor on the internet that all the broken A6s are for grocery cars, and everyone is talking about a Ferrari, but in reality, they are all keyboard warriors. Not to mention Maybach, a person who has stuck most of their A4. So when she saw this car, she was directly blinded. Lu Yun opened his mouth and was speechless, but the middle-aged man driving down was clearly more anxious than him. Young master. You have finally returned. Once this title is given, there is no need for Lu Yun to explain, everyone understands. Yang Mi opened her mouth wide and looked at Lu Yun with a surprised expression on her face. Young master. Lu Yun, with a black face and gritted his teeth, grabbed the middle-aged man's arm and said. Uncle Lu. If you continue to do this to me, I'll take a taxi back by myself. Uncle Lu chuckled and said. Oh, you child, why don't you know how to be funny? Uncle Lu looked up and down at Lu Yun with great joy, and smiled contentedly. I haven't seen it for 3 years, it's quite strong. Lu Yun's eyelids twitched and he glanced at Yang Mi, who was still in a stunned state. Very speechless, squinting and whispering. Didn't I tell my mom? Keep it low. Keep it low. You just came up and messed up this thing for me. Can I still do business? Upon hearing this, Uncle Lu felt a bit speechless. You child, isn't it? It's no use telling me about this, isn't it? This car is already the most dilapidated in your family. I've been looking for it for a long time, just finished washing it. Yang Mi. Camera. Audience in the live broadcast room. Wang Defa. Are you making fun of meowing? Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th.